Hold up. See what you're saying? Niggas got me fixed like little pimps.
A lot of faces, seen a lot of faces. Oh hell, I even fuck with different races. A white dude, his name was John. He had a Queen Bee Rules tattoo on his arm. He asked me if I'd be his day for the prom, and he'd buy me a horse, a Porsche, and a farm. Damn, a nigga from down south used to like me to spank him and come in his mouth. And Thorny, he was a thousand.
Baby!
That's what I liked about him. He got pussy from dark to the morning. Pulled this girl up and told her we was boning. Puerto Rican Bobby used to be a deacon. Now he be sucking me off on the weekend. And this black dude, I called King Kong. He had a big ass dick in a hurricane. This verse goes out to my niggas in jail, beating they dicks to the double XL magazine. You like how I look in the opera green? Get your Vaseline, roll some weed with some tissue and close your eyes. And imagine your tongue in between my thighs. Open up yourself like Alright, that's enough. Stop looking, listen, get back to your position.
Kim got your dick hard, start fights in the yard. Them dicks, baby. Them dicks.
Niggas do anything for a little Kim poster. Essays, Bloods, Crips, all the thugs up north in the hole. They all wanna know. Driving in the street, hold on to your seat. Niggas grabbing me while I ride your beat. And if you see a shiny black Lamborghini fly by you, that's me, the night rider, dressed in all black with the gat in the lap.
Lunatics in the street, you gotta keep the heat.
60 on the bezel, 100 on the ring, sitting pretty baby with a cash money bling. 12 a.m. I'm on my way to the club. After 3 bottles, I'll be ready to fall. Some niggas even put me on their grocery list, right next to the whipped cream and box of chocolate. Designer pussy, my shit come in flavors. High class taste, niggas got to spend paper. Live it right the first time when you gotta do it over. Like it's rehearsal for a Tootsie commercial.
All right, what's going on, Conscious Crew? Happy motherfucking Saturday. Hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend, honey. I have had a splendid weekend. Me and my man, we figured out what I really wanted to do for my 40th birthday next Saturday. And we're going to talk about it here. Before we do so, please go ahead and run those likes all the way up. Make sure that you guys smash the like button. Make sure you have your notification bell set to all. Share, all of that good jazz. Y'all already know what time it is, girl. With no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, what is going on, Conscious Crew? Happy Saturday. Girl, I have had a very action-packed Saturday. My man had took me out for some pre-early birthday shenanigans because, you know, he's in the military, so he'll be on base for a bitch birthday. So we had to get into some things today. Now we're going to get into what I decided to do for my 40th birthday. I decided to keep it real simple, keep it real easy. And then we're going to get into this topic here on the screen, girl, because CTV done woke it all the fuck the way up. And we're going to continue to wake it up. All right. Now, to give the Conscious crew members an opportunity to go ahead and pooch up on in here, girl, to crawl their asses into the sanctuary. You guys know that I'll be turning 40 next Saturday, and I am shooketh because I just never thought, girl, that I would live this long. Like, ever since I was 14, I just felt like I was going to die young. I just was one of those people, like, I'm gonna die young. I'm gonna die. I don't know why I felt like that, but I just felt like I was gonna die young. So to have had that thought since I was 14 and to have made it 4 decades on this crazy ass planet is beyond me. To be a minority man who is Black, male, queer, and to have made it to 40 and to be thriving and to be living the life I've always wanted to be living, girl, I'm shooketh. I am shooketh. I have nothing but the Father, Son, and the Holy Daughter to thank for where I am. So because it's 40, I never really I never really do anything for my birthday. I'm not really a person who's really into holidays. I'm not really even into birthdays either, but I'm like, bitch, it's 40. It's 40, girl. Like, you gotta crack something. You gotta do something. You gotta, commemorate 40 fucking decades on planet Earth. But I could not figure out what I wanted to do. I know I didn't want a party. I knew I didn't want a gathering. I knew I didn't really want a bunch of stuff because I really don't have anything. I have probably all the clothes a bitch could own, all the hair a bitch could own. I got all the things that a bitch could have. So I'm just like, what do I want to do? And then I had the wonderful idea, bitch. I had the wonderful idea, y'all, to get plaster out of my mind on edibles. You guys know I have partaken in the spirit of edibles twice now. One back in 2023, which was damn near ayahuasca level. And then one back in August of this year, girl, which was damn near DMT level. And I had told you guys after my last edible experience that I was going to start embarking upon a study, a holistic study of the power of cannabis, of edibles, etc., how these things can be used to treat trauma, whether that's body trauma, emotional trauma, and the ways in which they can connect you to your own personal divinity, which has been my personal experience. Is edibles were literally probably some of the most shocking supernatural experiences I've ever had in my life. And you guys know I'm a witch. I'm a Christian witch, girl. Okay, I dabble in spells and astral projections and Reiki healing and all of the indigenous things. And I've been a spiritualist since probably 21 years of age. I've been an active mystic, an active witch, but nothing has been compared to what an edible connects me to. I'm talking about beyond the beyond, the beyond. And I think I'm going to have my friend come over and we're going to document my experience, which you guys have not seen before. But I told you guys I was going to, so I give you guys that content and you guys were going to be seeing me roll around, girl, with the Lord for 4 hours because edibles takes me outside of myself. It's one of the most compelling and inspiring and overwhelming experiences that I have ever had in my life. I mean, it is indescribable. But I want to also show you guys what I go through visually and physically. So we're going to be starting this documentary series beginning this Saturday on my birthday when it comes to the exploration of edibles. And we're going to be testing my limits in this altered state, because in this state, I transcend space and time, girl. And we're going to see, girl, if I can connect to the psychic realm in this way, if I have any extrasensory perception in an altered state like this. What happens if I was to pray over someone in a state like this? We're going to be doing all of the research and all of the study and just figuring out what the full potential is. Personally, for me as a participant, and for, you know, any contactee that I may have. Because, girl, if there's some things there, if there's some mystical powers that can be activated and aroused there, girl, we about to be the new fucking Cleo on the block. So there is a company by the name of Gold's. What it is it Gold Spectrum? Hold on, let me see something. Hold on to your love. Hold on real quick. Let me make sure I get it right. Where I live, girl, you can literally order Gold. Yeah, Gold Spectrum. Okay. You can literally order this to your door, girl. Like, they literally sell cannabis under the guise of hemp. So it's interesting how the law works, because the law is so nuanced when it comes to language. All right. Boom, girl. Now, this is 1,000 milligrams, 25 milligrams per serving. The last edible that I took back in August was 20 milligrams. So, you know, I'm stepping out into further terrain by cranking up to 5 more milligrams. I have no idea what this is going to look like, what this is going to feel like. I have, in both my previous experiences, I did not have a full experience of being able to let go, because the first time I didn't even understand what the fuck was happening. I thought that I was just going to have like a regular body high. That's what I had been told, but that is not what my experience was. So I was very unprepared. So I was resisting the experience. And then the second time I had the experience, I was not expecting to lift off again. I thought that I was just once again going to have a normal body high experience. And then, girl, I was to the moon. So now I'm going to be in a safe space. I'm going to be around safe people, and I'm going to be able to fully let go in this experience and just fully surrender. And I am anxious in a good way about this experience. I'm also kind of nervous because it's such a dramatic experience for someone like me. I don't know why these type of experiences happen to me, because every company that we ordered edibles from in the past, all of the reviews were from people who was like, girl, this gave me great sleep. This helped me with my arthritis. This, da, 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 da. So nobody was talking about seeing the stars, girl. Nobody was talking about seeing the stars. Nobody. Only I was to the fucking moon and back. So there is something uniquely happening to me in a state like this, which is why we're going to be starting our investigation. So y'all pray for the cane, girl. Also, I want to say, girl, we've gotten a lot of new subscribers, especially over on Instagram, girl, since all of this Gold's Gym drama. There's a lot of white twinks and a lot of straight women who have came over to my page and like what they see, bitch, and are sending me they titty pictures and they coochie pictures and they bussy pictures. I's got a man's, baby. Okay? I's got a man's, baby. Okay? I'm not looking for no twinks. I ain't looking for no bussy. I ain't looking for no coochie, honey. Keep your titty and your coochie and your peen and your bussy pictures to yourself, girl. I am clocked. Okay? I'm clocked, girl. CTV is not on the market, girl. Okay, girl? He liked it and he put a motherfucking ring on it. Okay? Leave me alone, baby. I's got some man. All right? Now, let's get into why we're here. So you guys know that we decided to cover the viral story of Tish Hyman, who none of us had heard of prior to her acting a fool in Gold's Gym, and Alexis Black, a transgender woman. The blogs picked this up, ran with it. We decided to cover it. Now, you guys know I personally do not like to talk anymore at this point about sexuality and gender. I think that it's just an aged conversation. We have bigger fish to fry. You do not have men or women in this case in the droves experiencing physical or sexual assault at the hands of trans people. It's literally a non-issue. Literally a non-issue. So we've moved on to other things. However, when this situation went viral, I was also listening to the commentary of some of our LGBT peers, particularly the trans girls, who were giving their commentary and were talking about passing privilege and why passing, particularly as a trans woman, is important. I have a different attitude about passing. I feel like passing doesn't solve anything for trans men or trans women, especially when passing is, well, I'm not going to say it doesn't solve anything, because passing can be a way to treat gender dysphoria. But outside of that, passing also is birthed out of survival and trans people trying to avoid danger by being non-clockable, by being able to blend amongst regular society. So since passing largely is birthed out of survival, I'm like, it makes more sense for us to then deal with the actual violence that's perpetuated emotionally, physically, and mentally against trans people than to try to cope with the actual violence. It's like we're majoring in the minor and minoring in the major. Also, I feel like passing is really ill-informed, because particularly when transgender women talk about, you know, how a lot of the girls need to work on their presentation, it's due to the expectation that all trans women are assimilating to femininity, when we have mask presenting trans women as well, just like we have mask presenting biological women. Hint, Tish would be a mask presenting biological woman. The Brat would be a mask presenting biological woman. Wanda Sykes is a pretty masculine presenting biological woman. So just like the females community is diverse in their gender expression, trans women are just as diverse in their gender expression. So what happens around the conversation of passing for transgender women who are masculine presenting because they don't have anything to pass into? They're not assimilating to look like a Sierra. They're not assimilating to look like a Beyonce. They're not assimilating to look like the traditional feminine trope. So I just feel like the passing conversation, like at surface, it sounds good, but it falls flat when you think about who all it really leaves behind. And it also is just a way to support misogyny and patriarchy, which is why even women like Tish still get bashed for being mass presenting. She just told us in the comment section night before last that she was just misgendered herself by a biological woman who thought she was a whole ninja. And luckily, this woman was willing to take her word for it that she was a vagina-carrying female. But had this woman not been reasonable, it's no telling what would have took place between her and Tish. We also know that Tish, the Brats, the Wanda Sykes, etc., that they get lots of pushback, especially within a patriarchy where women, according to a patriarchy, are expected to be femme, soft, so-called girly. And so not only does the concept of passing support this idea that women can't look all types of ways according to their own personal preference, but it also boxes lots of trans women in who also are tom girls, who also are tomboys, I should say, you know, who are mass presenting. So there's that. Now, when this story first popped off with Alexis, it was just literally about the situation. But then we had further developments, particularly yesterday. I had a comment on my Instagram post that said, I hope that when you interview, let me see if I have it here. Hold on. I think I have the comment here. Okay, this is a comment that was on my Instagram yesterday. This person said, yeah, hopefully we get to hear a full explanation of her criminal conviction for breaking her ex-wife's jaw. So I was like, okay, what the hell are y'all talking about? So people kept saying this, but nobody was presenting any information. And I wasn't going to run with the rumor. I'm going to need the facts. I'm going to need the evidence. I'm not going to report on a rumor mill. Run me the information. So then I went and typed in Alexis Black's government name. And there you have it. We had articles, I think even written up by the NY Post, who had spoke about Alexis' previous conviction. We already knew she had a conviction for drug trafficking, which, as far as I was concerned, that was a nonviolent offense. So to me, it was really irrelevant. I mean, lots of black men have drug trafficking charges. Lots of black women have drug trafficking charges. Lots of white people have, you know, these type of misdemeanor felony charges regarding drugs. But that was really unrelated to Tish's plight, who was just upset that this was a trans woman in the locker room. She did not know Tish at the time. She did not have any personal information about Tish at the time. She was literally just outraged that a trans woman was allowed in a woman's space. And she told TMZ that she had been outraged and had this experience with multiple trans women in women's spaces all month long. And she's just frustrated with the fact that trans women, whether they have a criminal past or not, are there. She doesn't care. But when I typed in Alexis' government name, boom, I found the deeds. Now, when I read this article, which we're going to read together, a New York Post, I decided to opt out of the interview with Alexis. Now, remember, we were interested in talking to Tish as well, but Tish never wanted to hit the link, even though she wanted to be in my comment section doing every live stream, even though she had time to continue to DM me and communicate with me privately, but she never wanted to hit the link to come up here and talk and to speak and to have a respectful dialogue. But Alexis was. She wasn't going to run from anything. She wanted to talk about everything head on, including her past, which we're going to get to as well. But once I saw that there was a criminal history and that Alexis had pled guilty to assaulting her ex, I said, yeah, you know, this would go against my own feminism, because my whole thing here is we never had an issue with Tish's concerns. If those concerns become legitimized, then I do feel that that's a justifiable concern for all of women's community as it relates to anyone in their personal space who has perpetrated harm against women. I do not support bigotry. I do not support transphobia. I do not support homophobia. I do not support female bullying. But in the instance in which there is actual violence committed by anybody, including cisgender women, perpetuating violence against women. If we're protecting Black women, then that's protecting Black women. So let's read this NY post, and then I'm going to tell you guys about the conversation that I had with Alexis regarding her past, etc. And we'll talk about further why I opted out of interviewing her. Okay, so the nypost.com, because you guys know when stories initially go viral, they develop over time. So you get new developments as a story plays out. You know, they pull information about the people who are going viral, etc. So a lot of what we now know about Alexis was not known initially when this story was transpiring, but the receipts are coming out and receipting accordingly. So according to the NY Post, trans person accused of exposing self in women's locker room was convicted of brutally beating ex-wife before taking her name. The transgender person caught up in a viral Los Angeles gym bathroom now had been convicted of assaulting their now ex-wife while living in Ohio as a male before taking the victim's first name as their own. Alexis Black ran afoul of women at a gym in Beverly Hills, including singer-songwriter Tish Hyman, who accused them of exposing himself and harassing her in the locker room. Black, formerly Grant Freeman, pleaded guilty in 2022 to savagely beating his wife, Alexis Freeman, causing a compound fractured jaw amongst other serious injuries. Quote, Kyle Grant Freeman caused serious physical harm to the victim. The victim suffered a compounded fracture mandible, which resulted in her needing surgery, said court documents from Hamilton County, Ohio. Black had been convicted of both domestic violence and drug trafficking in the past and has faced a slew of other charges, including resisting arrest, records show. Freeman, now Alexis Black, recently spoke out after Hyman, who is an out lesbian, claimed that she was recently kicked out of a former ghost gym in Beverly Hills for confronting a person with male genitalia in the women's locker room. Footage of the shouting match quickly exploded on social media after Hyman, who boasts nearly 100,000 monthly Spotify listeners, robots in my personal opinion, accused a trans gym goer of exposing her penis in the locker room and harassing women. Black, who is transitioning, has since shot down the claims, insisting to TMZ that she was fully covered and denying that anything inappropriate unfolded ahead of the caught on camera fiasco, which was also confirmed by Tish herself, who told TMZ that all of the trans women she had experienced in the locker rooms had been fully dressed, including Alexis. Black defended the use of the female changing room, arguing that she would feel victimized if she was forced to use a male or trans only one. Quote, you're not going to put a trans woman with a trans man just because we're trans, she said non-ironically. That seems like a whole new envelope of discrimination, she charged. Okay, so the author of this particular article, girl, is insisting on also misgendering Alexis. Freeman, Hyman, and Alexis Freeman did not respond to requests for comment on Thursday. Commenters on Black's Instagram weren't convinced by the transition. In fact, they were ruthless. Quote, pretty creepy using your ex-wife's first name, one commenter wrote Tuesday on a post of Black posing in black yoga pants and a matching sports bra. Quote, stop invading women's spaces. You frighten women at their most vulnerable by going into their changing rooms and bathrooms, wrote another on a post in which Black states, quote, for me, being trans is everything. As for Hyman, she claimed that she was booted from the gym and had her membership revoked moments after she complained to staff about the alleged harassment. Footage shot by onlookers captured Hyman speaking loudly to gym staff before she was escorted from the facility. Quote, men, grown men with big D's in the locker room. And that's why I'm getting kicked out. And I want to make sure the girls know. She fumed. And if you really want to F and be safe and feel good, why don't we just make trans restrooms? Because it ain't right. So the reason why other people in the gym weren't outraged is because those who actually read their contract and didn't just skim through know that Gold's Gym have a bathroom and locker room policy that allows trans people to go to the areas of the gym that affirm their gender best. So Alexis was allowed to be where she was, which was in the female changing room alongside Tish. Tish projected onto Alexis a right that she had been given by Gold's Gym and acted a fool accordingly. Now, gym memberships have been revoked. Now, Alexis is in conversation with Gold's Gym, who just have an open investigation, Okay, so the future of where both of these women will be at is to be determined. Now, when I got this information, I went and messaged Alexis and asked her about her past, about this incident, about whether this was self-defense, like what was the circumstance and context of this altercation that she served 1 year for. That led to us having a 2-hour-long conversation. Now, I'm going to try to be careful with the way that I speak about this conversation because it involves her ex-wife, Alexis, and Alexis, the ex-wife that is, doesn't seem particularly comfortable with speaking publicly, especially since there's a lot of people who are just doing the most, and she doesn't want to be vacuumed into the foolishness right now. She was also invited to be here to speak for her experience, considering that people are attempting to use her situation with Alexis Black to, as a lightning rod for their own cause. And this is what I was told. So listen up really, 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 really well. Okay. So Alexis is very open about her past, even with this DV charge and drug trafficking. She sold drugs to make a living like all other drug dealers do. And at the time that she met her now ex-wife, Alexis, she was a cross-dresser. She was not fully identifying as a trans woman, and her ex-wife knew that. They kind of had an arranged marriage. Alexis Black felt pressure to become romantically involved with Alexis because that's what Alexis Black family wanted for her. They wanted her to live as a male. They wanted her to be heterosexual identifying. Alexis, like a lot of queer people, just did not want to lose her family due to living in her truth, which sometimes is what happens to queer people when they live their authentic self. They lose everything. They lose their jobs. They lose their community. They lose their friends. They lose their loved ones. So unfortunately, she succumbed to the pressure to get romantically involved with Alexis, who was genuinely attracted to Alexis Black and was very supportive of Alexis's cross-dressing, etc. Now, not only was Alexis Black herself, she was a mess. She had sold a drug. She, had been doing a lot of things, but the ex-wife also was into some things. I'm not going to say what those things are, just out of respect. But she was into some unconventional things as well. So the both of them were a mess. Their relationship was, as a result, very toxic between both Alexises in this case. The ex-wife was very insecure at the time because Alexis Black is an attractive person. And she just would harp on sex a lot. It was a very like hypersexual relationship that was a way for her ex-wife to keep her from cheating because the ex-wife was just very insecure. This brought tension to their relationship. Leading up to the day in question, I asked Alexis what took place, what actually happened between you and your wife that led to her having a fractured jaw. She said she had been out all day, worked a 14-hour day. She had, at this point, been moving. You know, she helped people to move shit around. She had made $700 at this point. And she came home because she was excited to talk to, you know, her wife about, hey, I made $700. I had a really good day. By the time she got home, she claims that her ex-wife was drunk because the ex-wife has issues of her own. And so she was trying to communicate to her ex-wife. Her ex-wife was being she was being passive aggressive, yada, 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 yada. So what Alexis told me is that she grabbed her wife by the face, kind of like how you do a child when you're being stern with them, like making them look at you. And she claimed that she didn't know how that resulted in a broken jaw, which I found to be complete bullshit because obviously no one receives a fractured jaw because you grabbed them by the face. You obviously assaulted your ex-wife. You clearly socked her and it resulted in this massive injury to her face. I was disappointed in Alexis because at this point, she had been transparent, but she wasn't being so transparent once we got to the actual assault. But I kept listening. So she said after somehow her ex-wife jaw became fractured as a result of her grabbing her ex-wife by the face, she took her ex-wife to the hospital. From there, police had got involved. And when she went back to the hospital to pick up her wife, after she had the surgery she needed, she saw that the police were afloat. So she actually hid out initially for 2 weeks to avoid capture. During this 2-week period, her and her ex-wife were still in communications. Eventually, she was picked up by police. She was tried. She was convicted. She served a year in prison for the assault. During this time in prison, Alexis and her wife were still married. They were still involved. They were still speaking 3 to 4 times a day. The wife was still very much so supportive of Alexis while Alexis was in prison for this. Alexis decided, Alexis Black that is, to move forward despite the fact that they were still on good terms to file for divorce. So she filed for divorce from Alexis while in prison. So when she got out of prison, you know, their relationship had been terminated. The marriage had been annulled, etc. But they continued to be in relationship with one another. They continue to speak. They continue to even hook up. But eventually, Alexis also brought an end to that. Now, her and her ex-wife have been in communications all the way up till literally 3 weeks ago. So this isn't a situation where Alexis was, you know, she had broke her wife's jaw. The relationship was over. The ex-wife continued to want to be involved, continued to want to engage, continued to want to figure things out, etc. But Alexis Black didn't want that. And from there, she began her own healing journey of going into therapy, getting her mental health in order, coming to terms with her own gender identity, and beginning on the path of healing, because she was a train wreck and her ex-wife was a train wreck, and this was her opportunity to really figure it out rather than to make a mess of it all again. So after I had heard all that, I was like, okay. Because now I also had trans women communicating with me that they did not think that Alexis was the best representation as it relates to this conversation around mutual spaces, shared spaces, etc. Given that Alexis has so much baggage as a trans woman, she has a history of, abuse of women, aka her ex. Biological women had been hooting and hollering about, not wanting any violent offenders, and rightfully so, in intimate women's spaces. So I told Alexis, I said, look, I don't think that it's best that we go forward in the interview. My own politics, I have to be true to in this instance as well. I support women being safe, and I know that you paid your dues to society, and I know that you have moved forward, etc. But in this case, like, women have a legit claim because you have a very questionable past. And I told Alexis that this would be equivalent to a sex offender who has also paid their dues to society, but wants to, go forward into childcare. And Alexis was like, I totally get that. Totally understand that, because it would be preposterous. None of us would be reasonable in that way, even though that is somebody's past, even if they've had to pay restitution, even if they've been so-called rehabilitated, even if they've so-called been in prison, So there was that. Now, I have a lot of thoughts around this whole thing. Well, Limsky is saying, I for one don't think that she's trans. Well, that's not for any of us to determine. Alexis identifies as trans, so she's trans. Alexis is also very clear that she is non-passing. She's in the beginning stage of transitioning. She just started hormonal treatment at the top of the year. She's been undergoing hair removal processes in order to prepare for her bottom surgery. And she's moving fully through with her transition. But she is very clear that she's not passing, and that she's also coming from a long life as a bodybuilder, as a fitness coach. So she has a very masculine body. So it's going to take time for her to break that down in the way that she wants to break that down, and to appear in the way that she envisions herself as a woman to appear. I'm not here to tell anybody that they're trans or not, because once again, I am somebody who understands that, for one, even if Alexis wasn't transitioning, all trans women do not want to transition into femininity. You have masculine presenting trans women, and we forget that in these conversations around trans identity. So just like you got Tom-ass boys in the bio woman community, you got Tom-ass boys in the trans community. And the other issue with this so-called passing shit is that not everybody can and will pass. I don't give a fuck how much reconstructive surgery you have. That's why I gave the example the other day of, imagine if Michael Jordan at 6'12", child, decided to transition because they were in fact trans. How much cosmetic surgery and facial feminization do you think could happen for Michael fucking Jordan to transition all of what he working with into that of a woman? So even with this thing called passing in terms of it being successful, is still working alongside a person's physiological makeup. And not every trans woman is afforded genetics that will allow them to be able to transition femininely. You can't break shoulders down. You can't break a 13 size foot down. There's only but so much you can do to your face before you start to look crazy as a result of trying to edit down your natural genetics. It's just a ridiculous concept. But once again, passing is a thing because it's a way to afford trans women safety in a world where they're not welcome, in a world where if they don't pass, they just end up looking like freaks. And that brings even more harsh treatment towards them. And I'm gonna tell you what really did it for me as it relates to trans woman's experience. I remember years ago, I don't even know how I ended up following this trans woman on Facebook, but this trans woman had went live on Facebook years ago. And she, at this point, had been chronicling her experience just through everyday life. She was a social worker. She lived in New York. She had to commute through, the city and use, the A train, etc., or the 8 train, whatever the fuck it's called, to get to work. So she would take us through her day. Now, this trans woman that I'm speaking about, she was not passing at all. I mean, at all. Had zero passing privilege. She looked like what she looked like. And she would start her day with getting up. And do you know that this trans woman would have to get up pretty much 2 hours before her regular day start just to prepare her mind for all of the things that she was going to have to endure just leaving her home to go to work. Taking us with her from her home to her work involved her having to walk through the streets and the subways with people calling her the F word, people screaming, "What the fuck is that?" People calling her a monster, people mocking her. And so every day before she would even step out of her house, she had to prepare her brain to step out of the house to deal with all of the verbal abuse that she would endure just to make it from her apartment to the train station, and from the train station to her job, and then from her job to the train station, and from the train station back home. Being othered, bullied, spit on, pushed, hit upside the head, and made a total spectacle out of. I remember wanting to cry watching hold on. Hold on. Let me. I'm getting emotional just talking about this. So after seeing what a trans woman, particularly a non-trans woman who don't have the resources to pass, who don't have the resources to get her breasts done, don't have the resources to get her ass done, don't have the resources to shave down her chin, shave down her Adam's apple. Hold on, y'all. I don't even know if I can really talk about this. Because, you know, it's one thing to, you know, hear people talk about what they have to go through. You know, it's one thing to read about what people have to go through. It's another thing to literally watch in real time the polarizing, degrading, and shaming and the level of emotional violence that people who are just trying to live their lives, you know, have to endure and to actually see it in real time. From that day forward, I had no choice but to be in deep support of the people who are literally made the least, considered the least, who are literally being outcasted and misfitted. And then we wonder why there's such a high self-deletion rate amongst LGBT folk. So it pains me personally to see two minority communities, who both the females community and the trans community, be in this conundrum with each other, because females go through loads of unnecessary shit in this system that is unfair. I remember having a conversation on my live just a few days ago or last week when I was talking about how, you know, when I listen to females and having a mother myself, having nieces that I'm raising, having aunts, having best friends who are females, watching them have to consider what they wear just so that they don't incite unnecessary attraction from men. Watching them have to consider leaving a situation early so that they can make it home before dark. Watching females have to consider whether it's even okay for them to go to the 7-Eleven at 2 a.m. in the morning simply because of the issue of trafficking, sexual harassment, rape, etc. And I think to myself, as a man, I have never had to consider if what I'm wearing will bring about somebody raping me. Like, as a male who has privilege and lives and exists as a male, despite how pretty and beautiful and gorgeous I am, these are things in my everyday life that I never have to think about. I never have to think about if I should leave the house. I'm leaving the house at 2 a.m. and on foot at that to go to the mom and pop store up the street. I don't have to consider or have my nervous system be completely activated walking past a group of men at night like a woman would. These are things that I don't even have to think about as a man. I get to just get up and fucking go. I'm never worried about somebody putting their fucking hands on me or yanking me into a fucking van or into a fucking alley. The entire system of patriarchy is fucked up. And it has both female community and trans woman community having to exist in ways that are just not fucking right and that are not fair. This issue of shared spaces between trans people and natural born people is so loaded with so many moving parts, because you have women, particularly females, who want to be safe. You have trans women who are seeking safe because they're an endangered species as well. You also have the way that people have been taught that doesn't allow them to afford other people the compassion to seek shelter. You have bigotry loaded in this. You have transphobia loaded in this. You have all type of shit. You have females who have trauma in certain areas. As I talked about yesterday, when I listened to all the conversations about how do we resolve this, nothing feels really like a solution when you think about it full out, because if trans people are passing for two distinct reasons in order to cope with gender dysphoria, which has no cure, all a trans person can do is either live alongside the dysphoria or transition to comfort and soothe the dysphoria. But there is no clinical cure for dysphoria. So when trans people are literally transitioning, they're literally wearing their medicine. They're taking their medicine. That's literally how you treat dysphoria. You either live alongside it, which so many trans people can't do without it costing them their lives and taking their lives, because it's so easy for us as cisgendered people to act like we know what it feels like to exist within a body that you're disgusted with, that your brain is communicating very, very terrible things to you about all day and all night. I don't know what it's like as a man to look in the mirror and be disgusted with my genitals, to be disgusted with my maleness. And I can't imagine not liking my own body, being disgusted by my own body. And the fact that there are people who are literally trapped in their bodies, who are trapped in themselves. I know trans people who don't even have mirrors in the house, because unless they can pass, they can't even look at themselves. And not all trans people have gender dysphoria, but there are trans people who have gender dysphoria, and those are the ones who try to be committed to passing as much as they can, to augmenting as much as they can, to keep from taking their own lives as a result of having to live alongside a body that they feel completely foreign to. So if you have trans spaces, it does sound nice. And like I said the other day, those spaces, though, are only going to be utilized by the trans women who feel complete and who don't, the trans men and women who don't mind the general public who knowing their tea. But if you have large droves of trans men and women who are also transitioning not only to cope with gender dysphoria, but also for the sake of safety, those trans people are not going to walk into a transgender locker room or a transgender bathroom, because that outs them. And it defeated the whole purpose of passing to begin with. If you're passing for safety, only to walk into a big transsexual here section, a big transgender here section. So it's also the issue of dealing with the actual violence and bullying that trans people endure that's motivating them to transition to begin with. And we're not solving those things because us as cis people, we're worried about sticking to the way we've been taught to view other people, the way we've been taught to think about other people. Most cis men and women, most bio women and men don't even know one trans person personally themselves. Everything they've been taught has been through either a propaganda or through religion. Trans people make up less than 2% of the population. So even the odds of you even running into a trans person in a restroom are almost so non-existent that that's once again what makes this issue so minuscule. I, as a cis male, I'm comfortable with the term cis. I don't mind the word cis. I don't have a problem with trans people personally. Me, CTD, Davion, I don't have a problem with trans folk in my space, in male affirming spaces. I don't even have a problem with mass presenting bio women in men spaces, because butch lesbians use the men's restroom. Butch lesbians use the men's locker room, even though they don't even identify as trans. It's never been an issue for me. I don't care to make it an issue. A bathroom is not where I live. A locker room is not where I live. It is what it is. I don't even take a shit in public to begin with. I don't even take a piss in public. Hardly. For it to even be an issue for me. Now, what I would say in closing is that Alexis Black is not here because she's a trans woman who perpetrated violence against a natural born female. Alexis Black is not here because she committed violence against a natural born woman. And what that means is that I hope that in this running theme of protecting women, that y'all don't make the exception to only get riled up when it comes to trans people, but that you also are interested in protecting natural born women from also other dangerous natural born women. Because these same people who hooting and hollering about trans folk in female spaces are not even remotely caring about if Crystal, who they're sharing the sauna with, baked her newborn baby like a brownie back in 2001. These same people who hooting and hollering about trans people, so-called dangerous trans people in the space, don't even care if they're in the female locker room with Deasia, who killed her female best friend over a man. With 1 out of every 3 lesbians being assaulted by another woman. These same people who outrage and want to get roused up all of a sudden when it comes to trans women, but don't care. Rather, Brenda had to have several civil protective orders put out on her by her previous female partners as a same-gender loving woman. Like, I just hope that in this running theme of us protecting women, that it's not just about making the exception for trans women when it comes to the conversation around danger, 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 but are also equally interested in protecting females from abusive, rapey, unhinged, violent other females, because we have female penitentiaries for a reason. And within those female penitentiaries are entire wards dedicated to females who have committed profound sexual abuse against children, against the elderly, against other women, against their female spouses. You know, I hope that we're not just going to cherry pick and only care about the safety of females when it comes to trans, because that's the only time this conversation comes up. Is protect women from transgender women as if there aren't biological women who are just as much of a problem concerning safety regarding female and women's community. That's what I hope, because I'm going to do my part and stand on business. We got the receipts and the proof that, unfortunately, Alexis Black committed acts of aggression toward women in her past. Y'all find that concerning? That's fair. That's legit. I also want to be clear as well that this doesn't absolve Tish of perpetuating her prejudice, because that's what it was, against Alexis Black. Tish isn't in the video saying, there's a wife beater, there's a wife beater, there's a wife beater in the locker room. Her perpetual issue, because she didn't know nothing about Alexis, was the fact that there was a man, there was a dick in the restroom. I am an ally to women's community, but what I am not going to support is transphobia, niggerphobia, homophobia, racism, and I don't give a damn what community that you come from. Being an ally to a group does not mean supporting that group when they are literally perpetuating harm against other people. That's why over here, we pull on the wigs of gay men. We pull on the wigs of trans people. We pull on the wigs of biological women. We pull on the wigs of Black men. I have whole sectors on YouTube having whole fucking dissertations about me because they think I'm a man hater because I hold men accountable. How can you be a man and you because baby, the truth is the truth. That's why. And I'm going to tell the fucking truth, even as a fucking man, about men. I'm not here to protect bad behavior from any fucking group. I want y'all to know that if what y'all think is going to happen here is just because you're gay, that's going to result in my unwavering support. That if you're Black, that's going to automatically default you to my automatic support. That if you are female, no baby. If you're on demon time and you're harming motherfucking folk and getting the motherfucking folk away unnecessarily, you're going to get clocked. If you want a qualified immunity where people can just get away with murder, this ain't the platform for you. And I want to urge you to unsubscribe and find another commentator to follow, because I don't want those type of people following me. If you're not interested in accountability and really standing on principle, not cherry picking, not making the exception, just like me as a card-carrying LGBT member, I cannot have Alexis here because her past justifies the fears and the concerns that women's community have. I hope y'all are going to keep that same energy as well as women when y'all see women perpetuating harm against queer men, against queer women, against trans people. And that y'all are not going to make the exception to be with the shits just because, well, I'm a woman, I can't call her out for her transphobia. I'm a woman because I can't, I'm trans. I can't call her out because she's trans too. So I did my part. More information came out about Alexis. I didn't feel like that should result in Alexis being here. Women's concerns are justified. Alexis is also doing everything she needs to do to move forward in her life, which is what she should do. Find her happiness, get in alignment with her best self. Her ex-wife is also on a healing journey, regarding her own issues as well. And at the end of the day, we're still now back at square one about what to do about people different from us coexisting alongside us. I want to continue that conversation. At some point, I want to have a panel and have a great balanced, well-balanced discussion. Women's safety is important. Female safety is important. Trans women's safety is important. Everybody's safety is important. So I stand with women when they write. I stand with trans women when they write. And I hope that what's not going to happen is Alexis Black's situation and her past is going to be a broad stroke for people to continue to, once again, have blanketed prejudice against trans folk. Tish was still out of order. Every criticism I have and had, I still hold against Tish. Tish is transphobic. Her issue was not that there was a wife beater in the locker room. She didn't have access to that information. And she did not care whether this was a trans woman who has a past or not, because as she keeps saying, she don't want trans people in her space as a female. Bigotry and prejudice is not going to get us anywhere. And this is a deeply nuanced situation when it comes to trans people who are a part of a protected and vulnerable class. Just like female people are, as far as I'm concerned. Before I get out of here, I'm going to take some questions. Do you guys have any questions for me before we wrap? Is there anybody who wants to come up and speak? Oh yeah, I'm letting y'all know. Google moderator been tearing y'all up on YouTube and Instagram, girl. Like, look at this message, girl. Like, I don't know what type of language y'all are using, but whatever type of language y'all are using, Google moderator on both Instagram and YouTube are censoring y'all statements. So I can't even see half of the comments on my own social medias because Google moderator is censoring. Look, hidden by Instagram, not by CTV. This was a person who wanted to inform me about Alexis's past. And luckily, I was able to unhide the message to see it, but it initially was censored. So you have to curve your language because, yeah, a Google moderator is, with the shits. CTV always centered on business and holding people accountable. I love you. You are a beautiful human being. Thank you so much, Crystal. Yeah, I I have multiple intersections myself as a person. I'm Black, I'm male, I'm queer. So I can't just be an ally to just one group. I have to be an ally to multiple groups. I have to try my best to make space and be reasonable and humane toward lots of communities, because I myself am a part of multiple communities. How am I doing? I'm doing well. I'm grieved that females and trans women are just having to work through this, because it's not really being worked through. And we're definitely going through a lot as Americans. Lots of people's lives are being uprooted. People are losing their health care. People are losing their food assistance. People are losing their jobs. You know, Black unemployment is through the roof. Black jobs, you know, what I think Miss Stevie said, what, 300,000 job collapses. The same system that Black women were thriving in, being the most educated, is now completely underwater. This regime is on the head tops of Black people, trans people, queer people. We just pulled up the article yesterday that the Supreme Court is considering overturning marital rights for people like me and people like Tish. I always knew that once they came for the immigrants, it was going to be a matter of time before they came for Black folk. Now ISIS is arresting Black folk, natural born citizen, homegrown Black folk. I knew when they came for the trans community, it was just a matter of time before they were going to be coming for the same gender community. All of it is tethered together. That's why I don't sit and cheer on other groups' oppression. I don't cheer on, oh yeah, go and get them Latinos. Last year when ICE started cracking down on the Hispanic community, and so many people were like, girl, so what? Girl, so what? Girl, so what? I was like, no, it's no so what, because we know the play by now. They start with the people that they know we don't care about. They start with the people who they believe we don't give a fuck about. And then they groom us to accept our own oppression, because that's what's coming next. After they get us to buy into oppressing other people, when we're really just bringing them the bars to a cell that we are eventually going to be in. That's why I wasn't sitting up here laughing and cackling when ICE was out here running it down. I wasn't sitting out here cackling, girl, when Republican LGBT members, particularly the trans community, girl, were getting a crackdown, getting a shake up, getting a wake up, because I knew it was just a matter of time, girl. It's the same shit all the time. They start with the least, the most disrespected, the most vulnerable communities, and get to say, oh yeah, those poor people, just genocide them. That's how we're going to get rid of the homeless population. And then before you know it, oh well, let's go one better. Let's also get rid of all those people who are on government assistance. Oh, okay, let's step in one letter, girl. Let's come for the middle class and wipe that shit out too. It's a trickle up effect. It's a triple up effect. The shit that's taking place in this world is not funny. It's outrageous. It is preposterous. And it's just causing people to run for help and run for cover even more. People need community and resources and need each other more than ever. But what's happening as an adverse reaction is that people are being ran out of spaces. They're watching society cheer on their oppression. I think Bugs asked for the link. Here's the link, Bugs. We're literally watching the fucking death of America, yo. We're watching the collapse of our society in every way. And now ain't nobody fucking laughing. Everybody ass at the food bank. Everybody, federal workers and all. People who had their whole careers ahead of them. Ain't too many people now walking around with that red hat on. Ain't too many privileged people cackling now that the crackdown and the wake-up call is here. thinking that you cute, thinking that your privilege is cute, thinking that you got a leg up on other motherfucking people because of proxy. Everybody getting chin checked now. White people thought they were safe. Nope. I told y'all last year, girl. It's funny to me when white people be with the shits because, girl, the white people who are in control are not even so much as racist as they are elitist and capitalist. So they're going to eat their own. They don't even care about white folk either, especially poor white folk, disabled white folk, middle class white folk, LGBT white folk. Don't give a. And they're going to be doing away with Christianity and outlawing that once they finish using it to create the hierarchical system that they're doing. Because this ain't about being Christian either. This ain't about evangelicalism either. Hey, Bubs.
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yes.
What's going on, Kang? What's going on, Conscious Crew? Just wanted to come on for a minute. I've been listening to the entire conversation. I was kind of running some errands and stuff, so I was listening in the background.
Yeah.
First of all, I hope in the future that I'm pretty sure there will be. There needs to be like an entire like college class or course studying you and how you are able to transmute this stuff. Because again, you are able, and someone said in the comments, to bring accountability, to bring awareness, to bring clarity. Even when there was information that came up that other people could use or could be seen as a scapegoat, again, you were able to transmute that into something that was beneficial for all of humanity. So I wanted to come up here and give you your roses for that. And also, this is what it looks like when it means to bring your information and your receipts. It's a bunch of idiots talking. Exactly, Aya. Out of their fear and their ignorance. And it's gotten us to where we are now, to where we are literally, if you ask me, art imitates life and vice versa. We are going to live, if we don't get our shit together, the literal Handmaid's Tale. That shit is dark. That shit is crazy, but it's also real because it happened before. And they're trying to do it again. So going forward, yes, it can no longer be allies. There needs to be accomplices at this fucking point. These people are playing in our fucking faces. And I got to also believe that Tish and others see that and they're afraid because they don't love them damn selves. So again, if you can't beat them, join them. In every group, we are seeing people's true colors because right now we are being called to the present moment. And the present moment don't give a fuck who you are, your title, how much money you have, how many followers you have, how many SoundCloud listeners you have, how many Grammy nominations you have. It don't fucking matter. The one thing that you are above all things is a human being. So yeah, we're going to have to do our big one, all of us. And in the words of Harriet Tubman from one of my favorite shows called Underground, baby, we can't sit on the sideline. Everybody has to be doing something. Yeah. This is the time for diversity. These people are saying that diversity is a weakness. Unity is our strength. But wouldn't you want motherfuckers on your team that think differently than you? Because you don't know everything. You don't have the answers to everything. But there are other people there that can help you get to the answers collectively. So we have to make a choice. And like you said, they're erasing the dredges of society because then we don't care about those people. Those people are social lepers. So yeah, get them. But the gag is, in order for it to happen, they need your permission. And once you give them an inch, they'll take the whole ruler from your ass. Which is why they're going after certain Americans who don't believe in a particular mindset. And if you believe that can't happen, look at what's happening in North Korea. Look at what's happening at these other countries. But because we're Americans and because we're quote unquote Christian, we feel like we safe, we exempt. It ain't us. We have the ability to be able to click the motherfucking skip ad when we see a fucking ad about some shit happening somewhere else. Oh, that's so sad. Prayers to them. Let me go ahead and laugh at some real shit. Let me do a TikTok shit. Baby, America is about to have its ego death. And lastly, when it comes out to the Black community, if there's any group of people who should have the biggest level of fucking empathy, it should be us. We are the blueprint for this. Even though the Native Americans we're their sons, everybody else in America that's dealing with some shit, they are our sons. So we should already know how this game go by now. So we also got to work differently. We also got to have conversations about blackness. And that also deals with addressing queerphobia. I'm sorry, y'all gonna have to do y'all fucking part. Because when the trucks come for your ass, when the boots hit the ground for your ass, you gonna want people standing in the gap for your ass. Right? But yeah, I just wanted to say that. Real quick.
We literally, Bubs, can't even literally afford the division. Like, it's literally unaffordable at this point, along with groceries and eggs. Division is unaffordable. We can't even afford it. It's unaffordable.
Also, they're taking the money anyways. They're taking their money for themselves. They're just going to laugh all the way to the bank. That's all it is. All they're saying is, got you suckers. You fell right into our trap. That's all it is. They fell for sexuality. They fell for freaking gender. They fell for thinking that the eggs was going to go down. Probably did, but then it went back up again. They fell for, oh, Donald Trump's going to make everything better. They fell for, oh, he's going to make the comedy better, knowing that it's crashing and it's going to crash again next year. They fell for everything in the freaking book. Now we got freaking gay people saying, I don't want to be gay no more, knowing that it got nothing to do with your orientation, because the thing is, they're only doing that because underneath Trump, they're so freaking afraid, because the thing is, it's an excuse to say of what you've done. No, you're afraid because you don't want to get judged, because they have the ability to judge you instead of doing an alternative. Instead of creating a platform or a panel to stop this bullshit, because they're erasing you. That's what you should have done. But all you're doing is trying to create a scare so that everyone can't come out and also go in the closet. And now more women in the black community, and I'm going to say it, the highest rate of HIV is the highest is black women. That's what I'm going to say. I don't care. I don't care.
Just to be a little technical with that, the highest number are amongst the same gender loving men's community, but
as well, yes, and trans.
But the highest number of new infections relative to other women's groups is black women's community. So black women are the highest carriers amongst women's community, and gay men are the highest carriers amongst the LGBT community.
And the thing is, like I said, no one is wearing protection. No one is talking about douching. No, because the thing is, they grow up where they know is heterosexual sex. So they don't know nothing about that. Because the thing is, people try to tell them, you're going to hell to do this, you're going to hell to do that. Then they're not going to listen to them. The thing is, they're trying to stay straight, but the thing is, they're trying to hide themselves, but still trying to find, the side nigga while they're with their girlfriends and all that other stuff. Things are going on into motion and everything else. And the cycle continues. The cycle continues. The cycle continues. When are we going to break that cycle? When are we going to stop blaming people's sexuality for everything instead of just letting them be who they are? Why can't we just be human? Why can't everyone just be human and leave other people alone? Why are y'all so worried about sexuality? And it's so bad that straight people act gay. That's how bad it is. There is no point of this. We have taxes that are high. Even people are saying, remember, Kirk, Kirk, right? Charlie Kirk, saying, let's have children. Let's have children. Meanwhile, while these people are having all these babies, the woman was trying to search for baby formula and everything else. She tried to go to the church. The church said, I'm sorry, we don't have that for you. Remember, they took the what do you call it, SNAP benefits away. Not just the food stamps.
Yeah.
Huh? But this is how it goes. This is what these people are trying to do. It is a one world government. It's a one world government, one world order. Trump already set this in place, but the thing is, he is the puppet. The people that's behind Trump is Ross Vaught and Stephen Miller. If you don't look at those people, you better. Some of those people are racist. Steve Bannon is now backside with Trump. That means Steve Bannon came up on that platform, on the totem pole, saying that if he doesn't win this election, Donald Trump, I'm going to be in jail, and so all of you. Make that make sense. We are worried about the wrong thing. We are attacking each other. It's bullshit.
And what makes it even more crazy is the fact that, girl, we live in the information age. We live in the information age, bitch. We have something that our ancestors wish they would have had. We are literally manifesting the hope and the dream of our ancestors, who in the midst of what the fuck it looked like, they still pressed forward. But now, to Deshaun's point, we got to a point to where we start to cannibalize ourselves because there's no healing.
There is no healing.
But this is the opportunity for us to heal. And guess what? Y'all gonna need the homosexuals for that. Y'all gonna need the lesbians for that. Y'all gonna need the women's community for that.
Passion.
Y'all gonna need these people's community for that.
This is passion. Because I have to deal with this every day.
Davion literally in the live had a moment where he broke down because he recounted an experience that a lot of people, like he mentioned, don't even have to think about.
Thinking I can't have an opinion. I can't have an opinion, though?
Oh, we talk over here, so you know. And if there are other people who have opinions as well, I mean, the link is there. We already saw what happened with Tish, right? So, and speaking of Tish, real quick, since she also was a part of the live stream, I listened to one of her songs called "Lucky," and as I was listening to it, especially, I think it was some sort of, I think it was the Tiny Desk submission or something. And I'm listening to the lyrics of the song, and I'm like, girl, this literally contradicts your actions at that damn Gold's Gym, when you was looking like a retired stud boxer girl, trying to relive her fame.
This is ridiculous.
But this is what happens. We're here now, so yes, there's going to be passion in the end. And if y'all worried about a nigga screaming about what's going on, imagine all the possible screaming you're going to hear about people being tortured and being hurt in front of you.
Yeah, I was watching some other content creators who were saying that I was reading their comment sections, and people were saying that YouTube is deleting like comments left and right across YouTube, especially about this whole ordeal. And then, as I showed y'all on the screenshot of Instagram, like Instagram is also censoring comments too. I can't even see half the comments that are in my comment section because Instagram has censored them for some reason. So I don't know what the is going on. It's a lot going on.
No shade. If y'all have not, and again, I'm late to the party, and sometimes I think being late can be a blessing in disguise. You get to see shit afterwards, but for real, The Handmaid's Tale, baby, I think y'all, if y'all haven't seen it, y'all might, or you might want to brush up your shit on it, baby, because it's, baby.
But the thing is, it's not only that. Donald Trump is also creating martial law. He's doing all of this because you know about the Epstein case. You know about the Epstein case where everything's getting found out about him. Not only that, his whole cabinet is crooked. All of that is nothing but crooked. All of these are crooked people. And some of these people are not who you say they are. Are they really Christian? They're not. Some of them do what y'all do behind the curtains. Some of them do X, Y, and Z. Some of them say protect the children, but these people have freaking children luring. It's called human trafficking. If you guys go deep and do research on that about human trafficking, you'll see it. Look, you got lawyers, pastors, everything else, all these rings. Just because Epstein was killed, or just because there's no Epstein, there's still this stuff is still going on. People keep thinking that, oh, everything's back to normal. No, it's not. Everything's got to get dismantled. Everything is still going in motion with evil people on this planet. So what they do? They blame the minority so that the majority can attack the minority. That's all they're doing. It's a
And
distraction.
then they work their way up.
Then they work their way up. I see how this game plays all the time, and a whole lot of civilians just fall right into their bait. I try to tell them, they don't want to listen. They don't.
And what you think about this comment, y'all? As long as Christianity is the major religion of this country or has power, gays will have no peace, and nor will women and any other minority person.
Ooh, you want to go first, Sean?
No.
I kind of want to take my time on that one.
It's the truth. It's the truth. Because the thing is, there are the front line so that they will be the punching bag as men that you don't know that are abusers, rapers, secretly whatever they are, and everything else. They are the ones that are on top. Now, some of the men are good men. So I'm not talking about the good men. I'm talking about the men that are freaking weird and stuff. That women got to deal with this shit. And they can't have a voice. Gay men cannot have a voice. Trans people cannot have a voice. And it creates nothing but fusion of karmic, of energy. Nothing but negative energy. Nothing but chaos, confused energy. They try to use manipulation tactics, misogynistic tactics, to make you hate each other, to make them, it goes all the way across the board. It's dangerous. That's how you get people on top, by doing that. Those are the people they want as leaders.
And yes, with Christianity, I do also agree with that comment, because Christianity, a lot of times we're born into this. We don't have a choice. Well, it's automatically predated and set for us. So when you start questioning things, you're already being seen as something that is troubling. You're trying to create some sort of mischief. You never question God. Do not lean to your own understanding. But it also says study to show thyself approved. So when you have that beat into you, and especially in the Black church, baby, because of slavery and because our ancestors was wise before we lost it, being here in the West, but they were wise enough to realize that, hey, even in our oppressor's religion, there are some patrons that share the same similarity as the gods we believe in. So again, all this shit is interconnected. So they were able to tap into that, which is why they had to introduce the slave Bible in order to remove anything that was powerful from you or that could be used in a powerful way to transmute your shit. And the gag is that even when them hoes removed the bitch, we're still here. So yes, as long as Christianity, through the lens of organized religion that is not walking in Christ consciousness, this very deceptive, cat daddy liquor store pimp ass shit that these motherfuckers and threw on top of Christianity, girl, until that is removed or it is not given any power, then yes, for queer people, we will always have to deal with looking over our shoulders. And that's a sad fucking reality, but at the same time, if we don't get our shit together, that's fine. There will be a generation who not no scared punk ass bitches, who are not ladled and labeled in fear of past things that their parents did, and will come in with such a rebellious spirit that they will actually manifest what we seem to be struggling to. But also yet want to talk about protecting the kids. Well, we about to see what the protection of kids actually look like now, because the predators are in positions of power.
And look, you can go on my TikTok and you will see a whole list of sick men that's been doing things to children and in counting. and counting. This is ridiculous.
You know, one
Everyone.
thing. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was loud. I thought you was done. I'm sorry about that.
Hmm. Oh,
Oh,
go
you know,
ahead.
what's happening, everybody? This
Yeah, G.
IG. It's been a while since I stepped in. Yeah, I
Wait,
was
this
keeping up.
IG?
Yeah, this IG. What's happening,
Oh,
baby?
hey.
Hey,
Oh,
hold on for one
this is my
second.
first time.
IG. Hold on for 1 minute, boo. I just want to say,
Hmm.
for those of you who are just coming in, no, I chose not to interview Alexis after I found out that she had a DV pass against other women. As far as I was concerned, that then legitimized the concerns of women who had concerns about safety. So yeah. I want to welcome Southside Stevie too. Hey, IG, go ahead, boo.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, what's happening, babe? So, you know, it just, you know, I have been hearing this conversation about what is real Christian, and it just be kind of perplexing to me. Um, you know, objective morality, I'm hoping, should be dead. And this is one thing that I say about, I hear us talking about the different forms of Christianity. You know, there's the colonial version that we got, and there's the Ethiopian version. But this is the thing that I always have people to wonder when you look at the history of how everybody's religion, just about a spiritual system, was established. Most often, rarely, it's not established, regardless of the phenotype of the people, y'all. Most people's spiritual beliefs are not spread through love and kindness. They usually come through a form of colonialism. The reason why the Igbo tribe was able to be sold as West Africans because, well, if I'm East African and I'm a different tribe, I don't really care about selling you into slavery. So when we take lineage, you know, into to play, when we look at the history and the lineage of these different beliefs, it kind of does show where people are being Christian, people are being Bible believer people. You know, we want to we quote the scripture of love thy neighbor. Everyone will talk about context, but when you read the context of who the God of the Bible is talking about enslaving other people, how you should enslave other people, how you should enslave the people of your you know, following nations. This is something I wonder about. How are we are going to be an oppressed people and say that we are these morally correct people, but we endorse a book
held and
where
defiled
there's an
by the dung
objective
eater,
morality
a tender
is okay with enslaving your others. If you have a God that tells you just because you're not the God of my tribe that you should enslave someone, well, then you have to then ask if you're okay with that as a person who believes in the Bible. If you're okay with Israelites enslaving other nations around you, then the karmatic death is, boo. That's why Europeans is able to enslave our asses. Because if you have an objective morality, again, that's based off of things that cannot be proven, that cannot be tested. When religion, which I have a quote I've been saying, religion is human emotion
not
deified.
connected to its power are seen
So
as
as long as
impure,
we keep
such as those who
deifying,
live in death.
as, as long as we
But why
keep
is the dung eater
Hold on,
somebody
always
can go.
hold on.
discredited?
Maria, it's
Well, it
feedback in your
likely
phone.
has escaped
Every time you
notice that
unmute,
the
it's
dung
feedback.
eater is wearing armor that mimics an omen with his horns coming.
Uh-huh. As
This
long as,
armor reads as
Oh, hold on.
hello? Yeah.
Maria, I had to kick you out because you have feedback in your phone, love. You turn down like whatever you have in your background. If you have multiple tabs up, you might want to remove all those tabs and click the link again and come back up. But it's feedback in your background. Go ahead, Audrey.
Yeah, as long as we want to keep deifying our emotions, as long as we want to say that how I feel is so inspiredly divine to where I get to determine how your life in this life is lived. Because for me, that's one of the greatest times. I don't care. I tell people all the time, as an agnostic atheist, I can't tell you what your sunrise and your sunset is gonna be. And nor am I concerned. But you know what I'm concerned with, y'all? It's that motherfucking dash. When you die and when you were born, yeah, that sunrise tell you when you were born. Now, where you go when you sunset, I don't know. But what I do know, as for me, that dash in between those dates, that is going to be what the living says of me. That is what the people are going to say of me, my lineage and who people say I am, not where they say where my spirit came from, not where it's going. So we have to not keep focusing on this afterlife. No, 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 no. We have this life. And as long as we're concerned with the sunrise and the sunset and we let humans deify what they think of that, this is what we're going to run into. So I just wanted to say that yes, if you follow, you can't pick and choose objective morality. If you have objective morality because you think God or something divine told you to do it, then guess what? You're going to have to roll over the other nations of people who know nothing of your philosophy in order to get them to live the way that you want them to. I'm at the plantation, y'all. I'm a holler at y'all. Love everybody.
Thank you so
Woo,
much,
tens across the
IG.
board.
All right.
Styles by Stevie. Welcome to the platform, boo. And welcome
Hey.
to the moderator,
Queen.
to the house of moderating, child.
You're going to DFI.
Did he leave? Did she leave?
Can you hear us? Uh-oh. She might have had a connection issue. I'm going to drop the link for Styles again. Okay, we got a Maria in the background. Let me see. Maria, are you there?
As I mentioned, was someone I considered.
Just
Maria?
yes, mate. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but you got background. Like it's something.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I don't know.
I'm not talking. I'm on someone else.
I hear you.
Maria.
Well, what I was gonna say is what this one person seemed to say was that Ethiopia wasn't colonized by Christianity. That is absolutely not true. What actually happened regarding Ethiopia was that there was like some Christian dude washed over and he converted the king. And then the king was like, okay, I'm a Christian now and all my people's going to be Christian or y'all going to die.
Oh.
So yes, absolutely. Ethiopia was, and that's actually how Christianity gained power, was that usually that a ruler would convert and then he was like, okay, everybody has to be a part of it or I'm going to take your head.
Now, are you a Christian yourself?
Absolutely. Absolutely not. I'm a Shakta Hindu.
Okay, now can you describe what that is?
Well, do y'all know what Hinduism is?
Yes.
Well, Shaktism is the sect that worships the mother goddess Devi Adipara Shakti as a supreme deity.
Okay. And what is
so in our religion? Well, I mean, I would say that it's more about, again, if we're talking about, morals and ethics, again, simply doing good, living a virtuous life. That's what Dharma is, for instance. It's virtue and religion and things like that. Yeah, that would be, and of course my religion is very pro LGBT, and I just want to say that, again, we're never really going to get past this issues with like gays and women unless these religions are gone, unless religions like Christianity, because they brought about this misogyny. These are the religions that, I mean, the Bible is very, very anti-gay. I mean, and it really annoys me how I see many gay people try to be a part of this religion and be essentially shucking and cucking for it, even though this religion don't like them. You are feeding this demon that is oppressing you. And I don't like that.
Go ahead, Deshaun.
But you know what's so weird? They don't realize that in that Bible, didn't Jesus say that men was made for men, or and then women was made for women, and then men was made for women, and all that other stuff? He didn't really care about sexuality. And the thing is, they don't pick on that, but they'll choose Sodom and Gomorrah. And the thing is, here's another question: Sodom and Gomorrah wasn't destroyed until later on. I mean, wouldn't that city be destroyed by the time they was together? Because the thing is, they also had the eunuchs before Sodom and Gomorrah. They wasn't destroyed. And also after Sodom and Gomorrah, again, there was a pyramid hidden in the trees. They took it down on Google, where there was actually 2 pharaohs that died together. Also, the Bible that was King James was buried beside a man named Swordsman. Not only that, Jesus was also the character that played Jesus, the white guy. That white guy that was Borgia's son. He was also a homosexual, but he did some bad things too, because he also did pedophilia and all that other stuff. If you guys look at what happened. So I really want to know what the heck is going on. Why blame people's sexuality when other people also did sick things too? Because again, people are doing pedophilia right now. And it's men and women, all of them. But everyone is looking a blind eye
with the
to
issue with pedophilia, the Bible also allows.
I think you went out, Maria.
Well, let me say this real quick. The Bible does allow pedophilia, but heterosexual pedophilia.
Hold on, y'all. If everybody can hear me, please try to curve the pedo word for censorship purposes. Or we try to use PDF.
Okay, PDF. Okay. But PDF, yeah, they do that, and it's kind of like weird. And then you hear these stories on these articles and all that on YouTube.
Yes, Maria. I think that Maria has a delay too, y'all. So let's be patient. We can hear you, Maria. Can you hear us?
Let me say this with regard. Yes, I can. With regard to the PDF files, the Abrahamic religions absolutely allow for pedophilia. I'm used to saying that, but a PDF fileism or chomoism, basically.
Yes.
But it's like heterosexual. Like they allow you to take young girls as chattel slaves in that way, or as wives. So they have no reason to talk about chomoism when they absolutely allow their little girls to be offered up to old ass men.
Yeah, and also it's a Kabbalic energy. They don't even realize it's Kabbalic. Ain't it Kabbalic? That's what it's called, Cabal? Whatever you call it.
Epstein.
And Maria, I think
you talk about
Kabbalah or something. Yeah, it's something that someone was telling me. It's a Kabbalic energy where Kabbalah used children or something as an energy, siphoning energy or something. I don't know. I heard something like that. I don't know.
And Maria, I think that Introspector's comments are probably directed to what you're saying about Ethiopia. One of Introspector's comments says, colonialism was spread mostly through violence, not through the conversion of a ruler. And then another one of Introspector's comments reads, what they did to the continent was violent and brutal. It wasn't just let the ruler talk and he'll change his people's views. And Maria has a delay.
Well, let me also say this regarding the whole. I apologize. Let me just say one thing regarding the whole race with Christianity. It doesn't really matter what the race of people is. Regardless of the race, it's still an oppressive religion. If a Black person's a Christian, if a Middle Eastern person's a Christian, if an Asian person's a Christian, it's still going to be oppressive because the religion is oppressive.
No shade.
Styles by Stevie.
Like it doesn't matter the color of the Christian, it's the Christianity that's a problem.
Yes, I'm here. Hi, CTV. Hi,
hey, Bo.
Conscious Crew.
Hey,
hi,
Bo.
family.
Hi, love.
Yes, I heard the whole conversation, and I thought you did a fabulous job.
Thank
and
you,
I had to see some love in the comments. We talked earlier, and this was one of the parts we talked about how organized religion, as everyone has been saying so beautifully, is the oppression of us, because the same thing that they are doing to us with this legislation that they're passing, now they are talking about going after same-sex marriage, and CTV covered this yesterday with Jessica, where the Supreme Court is now trying to hear arguments of overturning same-sex marriage or marriage equality. So We cannot be oppressed and oppress other people. And with the issue with Tish and Alexis, that is exactly that. That is exactly that. You cannot be Black, queer, and oppress your own. And even with with the election that went on, we had people in our community that would go and vote against their own interests. And that is because organized religion has taught us that homosexuality is wrong, transgenderism is wrong, being independent or free thinking or having critical thinking is wrong. It's in the Bible. But what's also wrong is, as Deshaun just said, you have these elected officials, these men in the churches who are PDFs, and they are causing harm within our community. And 9 times out of 10, it is not a trans person. It's very few, it's very little, but it's not all of us in the trans community. So for you to put that blanket statement on everyone in the entire trans community, that puts everyone in the trans community in grave danger. And not just us in the trans community, but the entire queer community, because that's exactly, to Republicans' talking points, how they view us. They view us as PDFs. They view us as a sickness. They view us as we are inappropriate or indecent. And what do they want to label trans people now? As nihilistic, violent terrorists. That's what they're going for. So these policies that they're putting into place, it was all listed in Project 2025. They told you clearly right out front what they were going to do. So I'm not shocked by it. And since they love to throw the Bible at us, Proverbs 17:4 says this: evil people listen to evil ideas and liars listen to lies. And what do you think that Donald Trump and his whole regime is doing right now? This is a cult. This man has built a cult in his image. And they are now able to walk around. And I've seen someone in the comments said it so brilliantly earlier, where they said free speech isn't so free anymore. Absolutely. And I agree with that wholeheartedly, baby, because now these white supremacists, these Nazis can say whatever they want to. They can get in our comments. And when CTV said yesterday that Tish's fans came after her, baby, I wanted to take my earrings off and get some Vaseline. I was gonna go off. Nobody comes to my CTV.
Get some Vaseline.
Like,
and with racism at that, like, how are you defending a Black woman by using racism to do it? Calling the Black man the hard ER.
Yeah, that is weird.
Like,
that is just, I don't know.
Well,
can I say one thing?
Yes.
I just want to say this too. It's not all organized religion, because my religion is organized, but they don't teach that homosexuality is wrong or anything like that. But also, if we are even talking about, like how they would come after Consciouztv as a Black man trying to defend a Black woman allegedly. Unfortunately, it's been my experience that Black people hold very racist views towards other Black people and will say things that you would only hear out of a website, like neo-Nazi website like Stormfront. I've heard Black people call each other things that you would think only a white KKK member would say.
Yeah, that Black part. KKK. Black KKK. Because they think they're better.
Yes, they're in there. They're in there. They are in there, y'all. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Anti-Blackness amongst Black people is real. It is real. I wanted to speak a little bit, though. I wanted to get y'all perspective now that we are here as a collective about some of these statistics, since my boo Styles by Stevie had mentioned some of the data. Like, I want y'all's real opinion on these stats. Because we do love stats over here.
Yes, we do.
Such as the stats around transgenderism. Check this out. Transgender individuals experience a disproportionately high rate of sexual assault compared to cisgendered people. Research consistently indicates that trans people are far more likely to be victims of SA than perpetrators. Nearly half of all trans people surveyed in one major report reportedly being actually assaulted at some point in their lives. So what do y'all think about the fact that trans people are actually far more susceptible to being victims of SA and are far more likely to be victims than perpetrators in this conversation around making trans people synonymous with rapists, etc. Anybody have a thought about that?
Well, I mean, I would say this is something that I've already known about, and yeah, obviously, trans people are more likely to be victims. And really, I think this is ultimately a smoke screen and cover up who is typically the major victims, which is typically, again, cisgender men. And there are a lot of systems that allow them to do that, like the Abrahamic religions protect their chomo pastors and preachers and things like that. In fact, I think there was even a story where in this one pastor, like he was a registered sex offender, right? And instead of kicking his pastor out, they literally banned children from the church to protect the pastor because he couldn't legally be around children.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're in government elected positions. Go ahead, CTV. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say, transgender people are over 4 times more likely than cis people to be victims of violent crimes, including rape and sexual assault. In a 2024 study, 80% of trans and non-binary participants had experienced sexual assault. Another study found that 47% of all respondents have experienced sexual assault. High rates of sexual assault are observed amongst transgender and non-binary adolescents, with a past year prevalence of 18.5% to 27%, depending on gender identity. Restrictive school bathroom and locker room policies are associated with an increased risk of sexual assault for these youth. So this idea that trans folks should be in their own faith is resulting in more sexual assault at the hands, like Maria said, cis hetero folks. Maria, I think your background a background, I'm gonna read.
Is it still bad? Can you hear me?
Okay, it's clear now. Yeah, it was going a lot before.
Okay.
Also, I wanted to read you guys this. What do y'all think about the fact that more LGBT statistics report that, because we do have in this case a Black transgender loving woman being transphobic, and the irony of that is 1 out of 3 lesbians have been assaulted by another woman.
I'll give it like a 6.
How do we make sense of this?
Can I say something that's inconvenient?
Yes.
Well, just from what I've heard, I mean, outside of like really patriarchal religious things, lesbians have kind of the highest rates of domestic abuse, whereas gay men have the lowest rates of domestic abuse.
Yeah. But it's funny who's being made the monster and the boogeyman in these cases for trans people, who are actually more likely to be victims.
And I agree. And can I say one thing? If you've seen a lot of media, if you see a lot of TV shows and things, you see so many examples of gay men beating each other up, but that is not the case IRL. Most gay people have lower rates of domestic violence and beating each other's asses than straight people do. So that's something that really annoys me when I see that so prevalent in media, because it's a lie.
Yeah, it's the propaganda of it all. Let's talk about men. Men commit the vast majority of sexual crimes. Most sexual assault abuse perpetrators are not strangers, but rather people known and often trusted by the victim, such as family members, intimate partners, and acquaintances. I want to particularly talk about this part here about location. Many assaults occur in or around the victim's home. Ironically, when I woke up this morning, there was a story of a 27-year-old man who had raped a 12-year-old girl under a staircase in her apartment building.
That is wild.
And let's also not brush it on the carpet that many of these assaults are done by religious leaders towards children.
Absolutely, because we know that the Catholic Church has an entire epidemic. Bubs, did you want to chime in here?
Oh yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, because I had to change my headset. I kind of wanted everybody else to kind of cook and stuff like that. What was the first question you asked? The first thing that you talked about
I
before
was
you
just
brought
reading
this
off of the
statistic up?
stats and just asked people how they, like what they thought about some of the statistics around. Hold on, I'm gonna have to mute Maria background, baby, because Maria, it's your background, baby. It's shining bright like a diamond, my love. Yeah,
In the sky.
I was just reading off statistics such as the
No, it
fact
was something else that you put up before that.
Is it still bad?
Yes, it still be at. It still be at.
Hold
No, it
on.
was
let me-
something else that you had asked before you start showing the statistics. But
I don't
I'll just
even-
go with what's going on right now. Yeah, it's cool, whatever. I mean, I remember I was watching.
Is it still loud?
Kind of slightly, like the background. I don't know if it's news or something else that's playing, but that's kind of like sometimes overpowering a little bit. But
I'm gonna mute you in the meantime, Maria.
There's this YouTube channel that I would encourage people to watch called Belief It or Not. Belief with an F, It or Not. And it breaks down, it's like a deconstruction of religion channel, particularly with Christianity. And again, there's so much of this hyper focus, as Maria mentioned, about being so queerphobic and worrying about the children, that being one of their arguments, but yet literally talked about pastors who were in their 30s and 40s who would date girls who were 16 years old and not do anything with them actually or intimately. Sherman gonna have relations until 18 years old and then be intimate with them. And the church knows about it.
Mm-hmm.
So again, we have these issues. And baby, if you were part of the short stack revolution, girl, Deshaun, the way he be shooting up shit, I'd be like, damn, I can't wait until my bank account get hit up like that. Ching, 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 all types of stuff. But he brings up so many stories and videos and articles about pastors and religious individuals who are speaking anti-queer and talking about, again, equating queerness to pedophilia. And those are the individuals who literally be doing it. But because they're in religious spaces and organized religion has encouraged us or indoctrinated us to believe, to put that belief into every aspect of our life that controls everything. I mean, you're being told every Sunday that your ass is weak, that you're a dirty rag unto God, that you're nothing without God, that you're already beating yourself down. Again, slave Bible, beating yourself down, and then being told this one person is the only one alone that is able to connect with God on your behalf. And if you are in a place that is not teaching you how to connect to source, to yourself, but having you dependent on the system to do that for you, you might want to run. And like CTV said years ago, if the church is a place that is a hospital for sin sick souls, then why is there so many residents in this hospital? Is this a hospital or a hospice station where people are getting ready to pass the fuck on? So again, we have to do something, and we have to do something quick because religion, Christianity is on the rise. There are so many videos. I don't know if y'all know what's going on in the church sector, but one of the individuals who was a part of a queer affirming organization recanted his statement and said that he's no longer gay. And you have these other red pill Christian version channels that take these interviews and they lead them with their religious bigoted viewpoints to create the narrative and make it blanketed across all queer people. So to Maria's point, yes, until Christianity actually walks out the Christ energy, this will always be the situation for us, unfortunately, which is the sad part, because even in the era of information, we got a supercomputer in our motherfucking hands. You can look up anything you motherfucking want, and you still ignorant. Oh, baby, no wonder Jesus ain't coming back, girl. Who wanna come back for the losing crowd, girl? Who want to come back for the crowd where it's like, girl, these are my people. Lord, do I even want to come in? I should have known to just kill these motherfuckers the first time. Go ahead.
I think that people need to stop asking for Jesus to come back, because more people are going to hell than to heaven if he does. at this
And
point.
yeah, but
Oh,
Conscious TV, there was a story, and I don't think you saw this, but it was a boy that was in school. I don't know if it was in Florida, where this boy was picked on by another boy that was getting bullied. You know what I mean? He was saying that this boy keeps calling me gay. He was trying to run to the teacher, but the teacher didn't do anything about it. And
Oh
then
yeah,
he
this one.
said that the next day he keep calling me gay, so I pushed him and everything else, and then I got suspended. So, but he didn't. And the thing is, she had to go to the school. But the thing is, she really didn't say anything of like, baby, you'll be all right, live your truth or anything like that. She just didn't say anything. But the thing is, she still supported her child and stuff. But it's kind of like, But the thing is like, why? How did that boy that was getting bullied? How did the bully know about gay? I thought children don't need to know about sexuality. This is what straight people say, but the thing is they beat this into their heads because originally, if they didn't notice, they would say, I don't care if you gay. Like there's actually, if you go back into the 2012 and then they ask kids, do you care about gay people? Do you think that they're bad? And they say, I don't think that they're bad. I don't think that they're bad at all. We don't care if they're gay. But now fast forward, now they're trying to put in all this hate towards gay people, even gay kids, so that gay kids can get bullied to the point where they might commit suicide. Oh, by the way, they removed the suicide line of the
Unalive,
LGBT.
unalive.
They removed the unalive. They removed the suicide line off thanks to not Trump. What is his name? Kennedy. Yeah.
RFK Jr. Yeah, it's still there. I mean, you can still access this. I access it from time to time. And you can still text the 988 number. So the services are still available to anybody out there. But to Deshaun's point, there are LGBT youth out here who are self-ideation, who have took their own lives as a result of being bullied because they're gay. And the thing is, love and acceptance. Children will grow up seeing the same repeated behavior that their parents have been taught. So that means that cycle will continue on and on. If their parents grew up racist, Donald Trump is the prime example. His father, we know, is a documented Klansman. And it goes all the way back to his great-grandfather. His great-grandfather owned prostitutes. So the history, and I say that to say this, what children grow up seeing is what they are going to become. They become a product of their environment. So that means if they have been taught to hate, where do you think they get it from? Where do you think Donald Trump gets his hatred and bigotry from? It comes from his daddy. His daddy's a Klansman. Him and his daddy refused to rent to black people.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that we are reaching out here to these queer youth and letting them know that there are people who love. Remember little Tyler? There was a whole thing about Tyler, how his siblings did him because he
Right.
was being his true, authentic self. These babies already know at a young age. Let them live and walk in their truth and stop punishing and penalizing them for just breathing and existing and walking in their truth in life. I would rather live in my truth than to live in a lie. And a perfect example of that would be Bishop Eddie Long. And that's all I'm going to say on that, honey.
Ooh, child.
Oh, not Bishop Betty Long.
Ooh,
Mm.
na, 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 na. My God.
Why did you mention? Why? She said it like the Bishop Betty Long. Oh God.
So we
Nigga
got
over
our
there
boo
preaching on
intersex.
something.
We got our boo intersex up here as well. Intersex,
Yes, come through.
can you hear me, love?
Come
Yes,
through.
can you hear me?
Yes, boo. Hey, welcome to the platform.
Hey, hola, ¿cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás?
Okay,
What are
so
your thoughts, child? It is crazy out here in these streets.
I was going to stay mute, but because I was going back into the original topic, but you opened my eyes to something that I'm gonna have to work on.
Ooh.
So I had sent you a message. I had sent you, I think, a couple videos and interviews of different trans women
Yes.
take on Alexis
Mhm.
and whatever. So I wasn't really I didn't agree with you interviewing Alexis, but I was still coming to support, and I
Yes.
wanted to see what she had to say, right?
Mhm.
But in your live today, it made me understand, why you were support. Well, I'm not going to say supporting, but why did you wanted to interview her? Because again, it's different types of trans women, and just like it's different types of women.
Mm-hmm.
So I never thought about it or look at it as that. Like I didn't think of like trans women who live their life as a butch woman, et cetera, et cetera. So I just wanted to come out to thank you for that. But
You're welcome. That's and like that was what was frustrating to me around the conversations, even some of the conversations when our baby mother T.S. Madison had the panel, and I was just like, I can't believe y'all are really trying to uphold this passability construct, because it's only in support of the expectation that trans women are assimilating to femininity, when that's not the case for all trans women. So there's nothing to pass into for mass presenting trans women. There's nothing for them to pass into. They have a gender identity of woman, but a gender expression of masculinity. So we're still running back into the same wall.
I guess as I have conversation with some of my trans sisters or friends that I surround myself, like we talk about the topics and stuff, I feel like passable trans women, and more so trans women of back in the day, like the trans women like in their 40s and 50s, they fear like I think they fear people like Alexis, that they give them like a name or a view, or it's because like people think that Alexis situation, or like anybody that get on YouTube or anything that they speak, or that's the look of trans women. So I think trans women, a lot of trans women be afraid that, if that's the look. Like example, a lot of people thought RuPaul was trans. Not RuPaul never said she was trans, but that was the identification
Right.
with a lot of ignorant people, that, oh, that's just like, you're just like RuPaul.
Yeah.
Like, so I think a lot of, and it's more so the ones that are in their 40s to 50s and maybe 35, it's a fear. um but that's why I read your message that you sent to
Yeah.
me about, that goes right back to what you were saying. And I feel like a lot of girls, they have lived, that's 5 decades they lived on this earth,
Yeah.
thinking and feeling the way they feel.
Yeah.
um and it's crazy because, like me, right after watching Pose,
Yeah.
I said I wasn't going to use the word brick anymore. And I didn't use it for like 3-4 years, and then out of nowhere, one of those girls made me mad, and I was like, and
Right.
I said it, and I was like, oh my God, why
Mhm.
would I? So I just
Mhm.
wanted to say thank you for
No,
that. But
like because this is the nuanced thing, right? Because I had said in a previous live stream, I was like, it also makes sense for Alexis, particularly to have the build that she does, because she's also a fitness coach. And guess who else are fitness coaches? Biological women get into bodybuilding and look just like Alexis, like these female cis natural born women do. These are women, bio women, who are into bodybuilding, and they are built just like Alexis. And so what took interest of me regarding Alexis's story as a trans woman was it opened up an opportunity for a conversation around around our expectations of what woman's body looks like, because we act like there's a universal look when there is no universal face of what a man looks like or what a woman looks like. Women are multifaceted. Women are different. Not all women are having the same shared lived experience. They don't have the same career path. They don't have the same passions, and neither do our trans sisters. So I'm like, what if you have trans women like Alexis who are into bodybuilding, and they're going, and women like her are going to look just like she looks, and like plenty of bio women. So, you know, it's like, it begs the question of, do we continue to just uphold passability, and why are we not instead striving for all women, including trans women, bio women, to be able to be as they are and literally continue to work at dismantling pretty privilege, attractive privilege, light skin privilege. Like, instead of us trying to work alongside this shit, we're just actually creating more problems by working alongside the system rather than dismantling it, so that also women like Tish are not getting misgendered herself and are not having to put up with certain things because she's a mass presenting, same gender loving woman. Because we always say that the issue of transphobia doesn't just affect trans women, it affects biological women as well, who get yanked into this idea that you're not woman because you don't look like this, because you're not shaped like this. You even have a lot of the rap girls, Nicki Minaj, all them girls have spoken about how patriarchy and misogyny pressured them to assimilate in ways and to get the BBLs, to get the surgeries. People are dying in order to assimilate, and I think it's just unfair. I think that when we talk about passing, we are limiting the conversation. I think we are not nuancing the conversation when we're talking about passing privilege. I feel like there really should be no such thing as fucking passing a privilege. People should just be able to show up however the fuck they show up, and they should not have to be going under the knife and going into medical debt just to make other people comfortable with how they show up in public.
And I was listening to somebody, I forgot who it was. I was listening to somebody interview, and they was talking about when they started transition, that they had way more courage and way more confident than after they started going through the process of getting surgery, well off and getting hormones and getting the body that society, and like when you talk about ballroom say you're supposed to look like this if you're a trans woman or a femme queen, etc., etc. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because I mean, like, what are we talking about when we're talking about, what are we talking about when we're talking about, passing to look females, when females are not even passing to look females? Like, some of them are preferring a masculine aesthetic. Some of them are preferring a masculine presentation. Some of them are preferring a muscle presentation. And I think we have to keep that in mind when talking about trans women, and particularly in this idea of passing, and make sure that we're not only talking about that in the context of femininity, because that's not the only reality and the only aesthetic and the only way to show up as a woman. Anybody else wants to chime in to that point? Have any contribution to?
I mean, everything that everybody's saying is valid. I'm glad to have more information, because even as a same gender loving man, I know that there is more that I can do to educate myself about the LGBTQ plus. Because again, we're talking about something that is infinite and vast. So there's going to always be evolution. There's going to be like a computer, like an update. There's going to be some new things. You know what I mean? And even in reference to pretty privilege, like even in the same gender loving male community, there are conversations about pretty privilege. And
absolutely,
what's interesting is that it's not only have we been hearing conversations from people who would not be, according to society, would be generally attractive. Now we're hearing from people who are considered generally attractive, who are now realizing what it really is, because now they have to figure out whether these people want me for who I am actually, or do they want me based on how I look? You get what I'm saying? So all these things that we're dealing with in these different communities, if we were to just simply work through this shit, we would realize that we all low-key dealing with the same low vibrational energy thing. A lot of times it's because we've been conditioned to think that way. Organized religion, our parents through ignorance and fear, did is big one on us. But now we are in a place where we have information. That's why I love this platform, because when you come to this platform, it's going to be something different. And that's the beautiful thing. Like, we are all unique in our own way. We all have our own individual, unique fingerprint. There is nobody else in the world that has your ID. as far as your fingerprint. So, as far as I see it, God, source, universe, consciousness, whatever you want to call it, has already granted you access to this reality. So fuck what a bitch think about your reality. Do you get what I'm saying? We also live in a world where, again, because we are fear-based and taught in that, we don't know how to encourage other people, or we try to silence other people who have courage. But again, we're realizing through education, through healing our lived experiences, through transmuting things in our lived experiences, we are gaining clarity to where we can see shit for what it is. And those motherfuckers are afraid. That's why they have to demonize us. People fear what they do not understand, and they hate what they fear. And if you don't want to understand it at this point, I'd rather you just be honest.
And
I
guess
think
what?
we have to, lastly, and I think we have to really play into that, because in the words of the great Alexis K. Tyler, Queen Drip, bitch, how'd she say it? If you fool me once, no, how it go, girl? I'm about to fuck this whole thing up. I had it all set up and everything. How the saying go? If you fool me once, shame on me. No, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You fool me a third time, you just this dumb, stupid bitch. And is there anybody tired of being a dumb, stupid bitch? Please raise your hands in the comment section, okay? Because it's the lack of it's the lack of knowledge that people perish from. So you might want to get your knowledge up. Now let me shut
And
my ass up.
And what's interesting about, like, once again, this whole idea of transphobia and how transphobia doesn't just impact trans women or trans men, it impacts men and women as well, is that a lot of these women as well, biological women who are training their bodies to intentionally look like this, who want to look like this, also get mocked, they get shamed, they get told that they're mentally ill, they get trolled on their social medias. These are biological women who prefer to look muscular, to look quote unquote masculine, who have to endure the shame because of these ideas around what femininity should look like and the way femininity can exist and the way femininity can be. These things don't exist. There is no one way for a man to look, for a woman to look, and trying to insist upon committing to these literal ideas, these man-made fucking ideas, is literally leading to the harm of people and the psychological harm of people over your fucking stupid ass idea. I think people are losing their connection on the StreamYard link. All are welcome to the platform. You guys, the link is in the chat. Anybody is welcome to come up. Please come up if you want to sound off. And remember, Google Moderator is blocking y'all. Google Moderator is a personal encrypted mechanism within Google that even us as content creators don't have. So we can't even control Google Moderator. So please be mindful of the instructions of the moderators. And for whatever reason, Google is heavily censoring Instagram and YouTube across the board. This is happening across all of YouTube, all of Instagram. I can barely even see my own comment section on Instagram because Instagram has hidden the fucking comment. So y'all just have to be mindful of the way you type, the way that you write things, so that your comments are not being censored by Google Moderator. That is not the doing of the moderators, and it's not the doing of me. You even had an idiot that just had to block, who see me up here scrolling through a whole page talking about I'm blocking them. Bitch, how the fuck I'm on one page scrolling and then have time to look at your goofy ass? Now I done blocked you, bitch. Now you blocked, bitch.
Bye.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I think we got intersex back. Are you back, my love?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay, we're all back as a trinity.
Oh, you were saying about women like I said China the wrestler is a great example about what you were speaking about.
Mm-hmm. A lot of the wrestlers, you're right. A lot of the female wrestlers.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of the athletic girls tend to also take on a more masculine and butch aesthetic. A lot of the female basketball players, Brittany Griner, you know, like a lot of them take on a lot of tomboy aesthetic.
Brock Lesnar's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Look up Brock Lesnar's daughter.
Who?
Y'all go ahead and look at Brock Lesnar, the wrestler.
I don't even know how
Brock
to spell that.
Lesnar. But his daughter, for those in the comments who do know, go look at Brock Lesnar's daughter. Exactly, like you said, just kind of want to say that real quick. Like you said, when you're working out, especially when you're getting into the whole bodybuilding sport, yes, your body is going to change as far as the features of it. So yeah, to your point. Yeah.
Yes, CTV is a full-blown Scorpio. My birthday is next Saturday. We are a week away officially from a bitch 40th birthday. My God, today, here shaking the motherfucking table, stirring the motherfucking pot. And yes, for those who are just coming in, I decided not to interview Alexis after finding out about her past. I think that Alexis' story, I think it justifies the concerns. Her past justifies the concerns that women have regarding safety. My addition or alley-oop to that is I just hope that women keep that same energy around protecting women, also from dangerous biological women who are molesters and pedophiles and have violent past against women. I hope that women's community is not just going to make the exception to raise the roof when it comes to trans folk, because it's really them being bigoted, but are actually interested in protecting women if it's about protecting women, including also protecting women from dangerous biological women, because we know that women's community ain't filled with a bunch of saints, or else we wouldn't have a bunch of women on parole and we wouldn't have a female penitentiary all across the country housing the most dangerous of women amongst the country. I just hope that we're going to really be principled and hold it through and through, by and by. But yes, can you spell that wrestler's name so I can look them up, Bubs?
Yeah, BROCKLESNAR.
Daughter.
I think her name is Maya, I believe.
Tell me, this white girl?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is this the mom and daughter duo on the screen here?
That's Brock Lesnar, and that's his daughter.
Okay, yeah. So this is who Bubs is talking about. Yeah, I mean, and she's giving butch, honey. She's giving a bitch who know how to install a transmission by hand. Yes, God. And once again, this idea that there's one face. That's why I was frustrated with the conversations around past, even with a Blair White talking about, trans women should work on their past. Like, bitch, all trans women are not feminine. Just like all bio women are not feminine. All trans women are not interested in looking like Keisha Kayor or Nicki Minaj. That's really ridiculous. So when we think about passing, we have to think it really through, because we say a lot of shit that sound cute, but then when you get to really thinking about it, you're like, bitch, what? That doesn't work. It falls apart. And we have another beautiful trans woman.
Hey,
What's your name, boo?
Aaron Michelle.
Aaron, hey, boo. Hey, love. Welcome to the
Hey,
platform.
Conscious. Hey.
Hi. So what are your
Hey.
thoughts about, the things that are going on?
I think it's actually sad, and I think it's just, as a trans woman myself, I do recognize that I also have passing privilege, and I've been blessed where just I can maneuver in the streets without too much of a problem. Actually, I have no problems, but just recently, even myself as a trans woman, I had a friend of mine as a coworker. I wouldn't even say she was really a friend, but it was just, I didn't have a problem with her necessarily, but I felt like she had an underlying problem with me, and she ended up assaulting me at work, and I had to take her to court, and it was just a whole big hoopla. And I just want my biological sisters, my cisgender sisters, to understand like we're not the enemy. And like we do respect y'all spaces, but I feel like a lot of them don't respect us, and it's not given in return. But it's like I just this whole situation with Tish and how she came at that my other trans sister, it was actually despicable and it's actually very horrible. And I think this is what a lot of people are trying to get my bio sisters to understand. And we actually have a lot in common. And it's actually like a lot of my trans sisters, we're not violent people. Most of us don't go well, except for that girl. But it's just like we're just trying to live our lives. We're just trying to survive out here, just like you're trying to survive. So it's just this whole situation is messed up. It's like she didn't deserve that.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of trans girls out here that goes through that. I'm one of them. I went through that. And it's like we're just constantly disrespected. I'm not saying all women, because I have a lot of female friends, a lot. But to the small sub demographic of women like that is just stuck in their way, and they just don't, they, for whatever reason, they just want to spew hatred and bigotry. It's uncalled for. It
Yeah.
really is. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna shut up now.
No. Are you good? And you're here to pop off. And I do want to say that it's definitely not all bio women. You know, there
Yeah.
are loads of bio women who are very supportive of gay men, of queer women,
Yes.
of trans men, of trans women, of non-binary and non-gender
Yes.
conforming. But as we also know, there's also, to your point, a corner pocket of both the bio straight male and woman sector who are deeply homophobic, deeply transphobic, deeply queer phobic. It is a reality. We see it every day thanks to social media existing. We can see it for ourselves. It's not a myth. And it is unfortunate because at the end of the day, queer people and bio hetero folk at one point in time have been swerving in and out of each other's spaces just fine. I really feel like what really fucked us up for trans people was a lot of the people who trope this issue, who intentionally were trying to go viral by being socially disruptive and acting a fool and posing as women
Yes.
and posing as men just to cause social disturbances, and it raised up the alarm. I also want to say that I feel like the real contributor to this tension between women or between females and trans women is men. Men have
Yes.
abused women as a result of a male-centered society and patriarchy so bad. There's been so much sexual trauma. There's been so much psychological trauma. There's been so much emotional trauma that trans women, unfortunately, are inheriting smoke that females really have for men. And I feel like until men's community corrects what they've done and intentionally puts the same amount of effort to make this country better for women that they did into making this country harmful toward women, that there's more than likely going to continue to be smoke between trans women and trans women and females, because that's ultimately what women see. They see the patriarchy when they see trans women. They see male privilege when they see trans women. They see all these things that are a real problem, but are definitely not authored by trans women. Like, trans women didn't create the patriarchy. Trans women didn't create the misogyny. And actually, when trans women assimilate, they are now inheriting the victimhood of the patriarchy, because they too now have now inherited all of those ills that come with being femme and woman presenting in this system. So it's just really crazy how all this shit is just knotted up and tethered up into each other. And that's why we make deep strides to your point, Aaron, of trying to find the commonality and just letting both sides know y'all actually in the same boat. Y'all have the same ops. Y'all have the same supervillain.
Yes.
It makes it makes more sense to actually identify that and utilize one another to combat that rather than to allow that to bring further division.
Well, can I ask this? What do you think about some, and it's not all, but some of our heterosexual brothers or that say that they have friends, like the proverbial, how white people say to us, black people, oh, I don't have no problem with black people. I love black people. I have all black friends. But you have a heterosexual person that says that about our brothers and sisters and trans sisters and brothers in our community, but they in turn still further perpetuate the ignorant bigotry towards that trans woman, or they're just violent and or just sometimes aggressive. And it's just like, what do you say about that person that says that they're quote unquote an ally, but they perpetuate that violence against our community? Like, how do you
I mean, you're not an ally.
yeah, yeah.
You're just not. You can't be an ally and be a bully at the same
Yeah.
time. They just can't coexist.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of the allies to the community, because they don't really understand the nuance of the LGBT experience, sometimes they fall victim to internalized misogyny and homophobia accidentally as well, just because they kind of lack understanding. Like, even with this particular bathroom issue, a lot of the allies are like, well, I don't have a problem with trans women, but I also want to be safe as a woman in a woman's space. And that is a fair conversation, considering that women are a vulnerable class as far as I'm concerned. But the problem is when harm keeps being synonymous to trans people.
Yeah.
When it's being made synonymous to a group rather than the focus actually be on safety. If the conversation is about safety, that's fair and that's one thing. But to keep making danger synonymous to trans women and trans men being in shared spaces, of course, like that's where our ignorance comes into play at. And we have to make it make sense as a people, because as I've been saying this whole time too, I mean, I hope I did my part in not allowing Alexis to be here because of her past, because I do believe that women should be safe. And if individuals have perpetrated physical and sexual harm against women, I too agree that women have every right to have an issue with said person in their space. However, I didn't allow Alexis to be here because a trans woman was violent. If it was a bio woman who had a history of violence against other women, I equally would not have her ass here too. And I hope that women keep that same energy. That if it's about safety, make it about safety across the board. Because are y'all only caring when a trans woman has a violent past, and don't care when a bio woman has a violent past against other women? Because if it's only about trans, then that's about bigotry. That's not about safety. If you're only caring and it's only an issue and people only need to be vetted when it comes to trans folk, yeah, that's about a prejudice. That's not about actual fucking safety. If it's about safety, you should equally care if the woman that you share in a locker room space with is somebody that has murdered her children, has murdered her husband, have murdered another woman over a man, have done perpetuated violence, once again, to vulnerable people or to other women, because the women's prison system is filled with a bunch of women who have harmed other women and who are harming other women in prison. So we know that females community is not a community of saints. It equally has sinners too. So trying to alienate and vilify trans women while completely ignoring the danger that natural born women can perpetuate is a lack of doing the work.
Yeah.
It's a lack of doing the work.
Exactly. And if anything, since we're talking about the prison systems, they're so worried about us trans women, the people you should be worrying about, because it's not all of us that are out here causing harm to bio women. the people you should be taking that same energy and frustration up with is these Proud Boys and Oath Keepers dressed up as ICE agents. That's who we should be dangerous. That's who's dangerous. That's who's out here attacking and assaulting women. If anything, trans women are not your enemy. And that's what I said in the comments earlier. That it's not all of us in the community. So when you put that blanket, just like with old girl on the Breakfast Club, I'm not even gonna give her no time of day at all. At all.
All the God.
When she made that blanketed statement about, oh, hey, we can do this, women can do this and this and this and the third. I'm not even gonna get into that. All of that. You put the blanket statement on everybody in the trans community. And when you put the blanket statement on everybody in the trans community, that puts us in a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
The entire community. And you know how the saying goes, one bad apple spoils the bunch. One person can do something. And then that will point to the entire community, which is what these men in legislation are doing right now. Blaming the trans people, blaming us for everything. If they're not blaming Biden and Obama, they blaming us. And I said this when I did my interview with Misha Robinson. First, they pulled the blanket off the bed, then they pulled the sheet off the bed, then they pulled the whole fucking mattress off the bed.
That part. Butt ass naked
the
out there.
whole damn mattress. Y'all thought it was just the trans people. It's not us. We have no issue. But like Klecta said, the issue of patriarchy is the issue. The patriarchy is the issue. Men being in powerful positions and having that much power is the issue. White supremacy is the issue. And holding on to your dangerous beliefs that cause harm to me and my brothers and sisters in the queer community. That's the issue. And as Deshaun said so passionately earlier, and amazingly, he did outstanding. Indoctrination. It's not us. But we should be keeping a head on swivel as these men parading around as ICE agents, or the melted people, as I call them. That's who we should keep an eye on right now. So trans women are not the enemy. Not all of us in the community are causing harm to bio women.
And I want to say this to Miss Stevie's point. It's interesting how, like, if you're not informed as a woman about the trans truth and the trans phenomenon, because I've heard females say this, like, oh, a male being able to transition into a female or into a woman is an act of their male privilege, when because of the issue of patriarchy and misogyny, it's actually the opposite. A male is actually removing their privilege by transitioning into a female, because remember, women are the individuals who apparently have lesser privilege than their male counterpart. So if a male is transitioning, they're actually transitioning down. They're not transitioning up if they're transitioning to be a trans woman. And that's why I say they are actually inheriting the same fucked up ass world that women live in, that bio women live in. They are inheriting the misogyny. They are inheriting the sexual harassment. They are inheriting all of the rigid expectations of woman and womanhood. Like, trans women aren't doing themselves any favor by just transitioning into women. It's not a pretty journey. It is a journey.
No, it ain't. Yes, it is.
It is a journey of authenticity, but it is not a pretty,
No, it's not.
like cozy. They're pretty much going through the same shit now as a result of transitioning into woman. I also wanted to ask Aaron and Miss Stevie this, and if it's too personal, y'all can let me know. I know that there are two classes of trans people. Trans people who suffer from gender dysphoria and trans people who don't. Do either one of y'all suffer from gender dysphoria or have been diagnosed with gender dysphoria?
I know for me, no, no, I don't suffer from that now, and I didn't. I now let Stevie take over, but no, to answer your question, no.
Okay.
No, not really. But I've had questions about myself, like, okay, again, it goes back to the whole conversation about passing privilege. And I shared this with CTV. I've done interviews with people, and I would have people literally go and out me in those interviews in the comment section. So it's dangerous. It's like, okay, am I passable enough? Am I, my face? Am I going to look like this? Am I going all of these questions? So for me, I would have to say yes. I would have to say yes, because I do sit and I look at it. I'm like, okay, what is the real issue here? It's not me. It's typically this person who's dealing with their own phobia. So,
yeah. Stara, I don't like you're kind of like missing the point. I need you to listen like very intelligently.
Yes,
So I'm gonna say
please.
it slow for you. Stara just says a lot of trans will tell you that they transition because they prefer to date straight men. That has nothing to do with the fact that regardless of what inspires trans women to become trans women, they are still inheriting the drama of the patriarchy when they do. Regardless of what their motivation is to become trans, they are inheriting being on the shorter end of patriarchy as a result of identifying as women who are on the shorter end of patriarchy. Like, what does them transitioning because they want to be pretty, or they just want to know what it feels like to have titties, or because they just want to date? It doesn't matter what they're transitioning into. They're still inheriting the shorter end of the patriarchy now that they identify as the gender that patriarchy doesn't respect at all.
And if we're going to really keep it a bean and a buck and a thou wow, here it is. That same patriarchy has been conditioned that their primal purposes is to fuck and conquer things. So regardless of what you may feel about trans women, I think T.S. Madison and other people said it. Y'all low key fucking the same nigga.
Exactly.
So maybe you should focus on the actual nigga that is benefiting from all of the chaos and the competition. Because again, if you are secure in who you are, then it shouldn't be no problem because God got you, right, boo? But these past few lives, it seems like it's different. So you're more than welcome to join the panel, ma'am.
Stara is not going to join the panel, but I will drop the link. And Stara literally has a comprehension issue. She just said that was a free will choice. You are equating every trans. How did I equate that when I literally just asked Miss Stevie and Aaron and literally said, I know two categories of trans folk who suffer from gender dysphoria and trans folk who don't. So what are you talking about? Like, this is what happens when you don't listen to actually understand, and you're just listening because you're emotional and you're reactive and you're only listening at 50%, but typing at 100%. You're not actually maintaining the continuity of the tea and the truth. And my point still reigns supreme, that whether you are a trans person who suffers from gender dysphoria, or whether you are a trans person who has self-ID'd, you are still inheriting the drama of the patriarchy. The motive, the motivation, the diagnosis is irrelevant as it relates to the relevancy of the misogynistic patriarchal system that we're all under. What the hell are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Is anybody else?
Take what he said and run that through ChatGPT as well.
Hold on. Is anybody else up here confused about what I'm saying? Because maybe it is me. Maybe it is me. Is anybody else here confused about
not
what
at all?
Not at all. I'm not.
Okay,
Confused.
I just needed to make sure. I just need to put out a census. Okay, anybody want to jump in there? Can.
And that's what that just proves our point. That just proves our point. The thing we have in common, and even as Bub said, to T.S. Madison's point, the thing we have in common is these ninjas. It's patriarchy. That's what's got our community in a chokehold. And again, it goes back to that crabs in a barrel mentality. Am I woman enough? You're not woman more than me. I can have periods. I can menstruate. I can do this. Baby, we don't want to do those things. I know for me personally, I don't want to do those things.
And
I
me,
have
me
sisters, and
either. Yeah.
I've witnessed what my sisters have had to go through when it's that time, when it's their time, when they menstruate. I've witnessed that. I don't ever want those things. I'm perfectly fine just the way I am. So, to anybody saying that we want to take away periods, we want to take away this, no, we don't want to gatekeep anything. We just saying we're here, we exist. That's all. That's all. We exist and we're women too. But the thing we have in common is that we are both Black
Yes.
and men. Men in our lives, men who want to date us. And they can't date us because the community has shunned them.
Clock it.
It's
Clock
like
it.
it's a crime to live in your truth. So that's what we have in common. Nobody's trying to take away nobody's womanhood or anything. We're just saying we're here, we exist too. And violence is against bio women, and it also happens to us more as well too, at an alarmingly high rate to each and every one of us in the queer community.
Right.
But we're not trying to take your womanhood from you. We're just saying we're here, we exist too. Again, we're not your
But can we
enemy.
also like
I
wake
can
that
tell you
part
who
up
the
too?
enemy is.
Can we still like, and
The
can we wake
enemy,
that part up, Miss Stevie? Can we wake up the womanhood part? Because just like dominant society perpetuates this idea that there's one visual aesthetic for woman, which we clearly can see is literally just not factually true. We also, in dominant society, also perpetuate this idea that there's one womanhood. Womanhood does not look the same for all women, including bio women. Not all bio women can conceive. Some bio women have fertility issues and cannot bear their own children. Some bio women do not experience a menstrual cycle. Some bio women have had to take estrogen shots as a result of being chemically imbalanced. Some bio women have higher testosterone levels than even their male counterparts, and definitely their female counterparts. Like, do you really think that the upbringing of a wealthy white female Christian is the same upbringing and lived experience of a broke-ass, impoverished Black woman? No. These are two different economic experiences, two different social economic experiences. Like, so even when we're talking about womanhood, do you really think your lived experience is the same as the lived experience of a Middle Eastern woman who's literally running from the regime in her country, who literally are unaliving females because they are literally born female? No, your privileged American ass is not being raised in the same culture. You're not a Muslim woman. You're not a disabled woman. You're not a fat woman. You're not a woman with cancer. You're not a woman who's been handicapped her whole life. You're not a Down syndrome woman. You're not an autistic woman. All of these environmental, physiological, and socioeconomic realities shape what womanhood looks like for women. So that's not even a monolithic thing. So yes, trans women have a womanhood that may be without periods, a womanhood that may be without menstruals, but is a womanhood under the umbrella of woman.
Mm-hmm.
And just like no one bio woman's experience, because of their religion, because of the values in their family, because of their geographical location, etc., have the same lived experience. Of course, trans women don't, because once again, despite how bad y'all want there to be one face of everything, there's no one face of anything. Not one. There's no one face of motherfucking nothing. There's no one idea for gay men. There's no one idea for gay women. There's no one face, one universal list experience. None of that. There are similarities all up and through and in between, but no one thing is the same. Not no one thing. You can literally have two siblings who are raised in a household who literally had two different experiences of their household.
That part.
Had two different experiences of their parents, had two different experiences of their fucking families. Like, this is not rocket science. But some of y'all act like people are talking rocket science. It's not fucking rocket science. You, as a non-handicapped woman, have no idea what it's like to be a handicapped woman. Have no idea what it's like to never have had legs. Have no idea what it was like to have needed a caretaker since the time they came into the world. You have no idea. Even though that woman is a bio woman too. You have no fucking idea.
And the gag is that
as that bio woman to navigate your life, your sex life, your personal life, your career life, your romantic life. As a full paraplegic. You have no. Everybody's womanhood and manhood is different. This is why I'm not sitting here discounting trans men's manhood. Because hell, even as a cis man myself, my manhood is very different from a heterosexual's manhood. My experience being a male, being a part of a Christian culture, a Baptist culture, a Black culture is very different from a white male's manhood. We don't have the same values. We're not having the same upbringing. We don't have the lived experience. And all these things shape what becomes your womanhood and your manhood. Your womanhood and your manhood is not tied to your genitals. It's tied to your entire culminated lived experience. And all of the interesting contributions from religion to culture, to anecdotal experience, to race, to preference, to aesthetics. You think that the woman who doesn't have conventional beauty and was considered ugly her whole life had the same womanhood as the girl who was born with conventionally attractive features? No. That woman has no idea what it's like to be the ugly duckling. She has no idea what it's like to not have desirability. Have none. None. Have no idea what it feels like to feel ugly, to feel unwanted. Doesn't have no idea what it's like to have an issue with men in love, or if they're same gender loving, etc. Two totally different shaped experiences. And this is why women literally be looking at other women like, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? Don't speak for me. Because I don't even know what you're like, don't speak for me. Don't speak for me. Speak for you. Don't speak for me. There's no us in that sense. There is only you, and you. Individualism. There's no us in that sense. When we're talking about manhood and womanhood. Me and my brother have two different manhoods. Me and my uncles have two different manhoods. Me and my grandfather have two different manhoods. We don't have the same manhoods. We don't exist the same way as men. We don't think the same way as men. We don't treat and show up and present and adhere to the same ideas as men. We don't have the same motherfucking manhood. And that's okay. Anybody want to chime in on all of that?
Yeah, I wanted to say really quickly, and to your point, using the whole example of being a paraplegic, like, no shade. I heard this one comedian who was a comedian who would be considered disabled, but very funny, and they said something that was true. They was like, eventually, this will be a club that all of y'all will join. God willing. All of y'all gonna need help wiping your ass, because what did they say? You're once an adult, but twice a child. So, and also, yes, to your point, we all are going to have our own unique lived experiences, because that's just the infinity plus one of creation. But energetically, there is going to be something in our lives known as ego deaths that we're all going to face. And it doesn't matter what you have to shield yourself from it, you're going to experience it. When you were using the example about someone who did not feel like they were desirable at all because the pretty girl or the pretty boy was getting all the attention, guess what? That same pretty boy and pretty girl feeling the exact same way, because don't nobody want their motherfucking ass for them, but just because of how pretty they are. Do you see how, if we were to look at the humanity aspect and how the system fucking us, but fucking us in different ways, we will realize that. That's why I'd be saying again, watch The Handmaid's Tale. I'm late, but if you haven't watched it again, where are the June Osbournes? Where are the handmaids that saying, bitch, we need to get the fuck up out of here? Because they want all of us. They want all of us. And we are in a place right now where all of that is being revealed. But the system is just doing what the system does, and the people are doing what the people do. Instead of dealing with the shit, let's distract ourselves by demonizing other people. The same people that in retrospect you are going to need. Ain't no you might need, you are going to need. So that's why I like this platform, and I appreciate people coming up that are sharing their experiences that I don't know nothing about. And what I don't do, unlike a few people in the comments and those on other platforms, is to speak on shit they know nothing the fuck about. There's a lot of Tish spirited individuals who need to be called out on their shit too. And again, the problem with people like Tish and others who think like her is that they stand so bold in their claims. But when the door, the opportunity to actually speak your piece and to validate your piece comes before y'all, just like MAGA, quiet as the fuck. Crickets. So yeah, this is a time for us to be loud and to be proud of who we are, because their goal is to try to erase all of our history. And yes, that means you too, Black women, no matter where you are on the spectrum. They want the whole spectrum going, unless you bring us some babies in this bitch, which they can then manipulate and use and abuse and even use and abuse against you. It's a lot of conversations we need to be having.
And look
But
at the
again,
conversations.
we can't have it.
And look at the conversations that are happening all over Jubilee, even as it relates to race or the debates between conservative women and liberal women, white women and Black women, where Black women have to constantly remind white women that, yes, we all are under the woman umbrella, but we're not the same women. We're not having the same experience. You're speaking from a place of privilege. I'm speaking from a place of not having any fucking privilege. You're speaking from a place of being a part of the majority. I'm speaking from a place of being a part of the minority. We're speaking and existing from two different cultures. Yes, we're all under the umbrella of woman, but not the same woman. That's why we got to prefix everything. Tall woman, Black woman, Christian woman, Buddhist woman, handicapped woman, American woman, British woman. All these are different types of women. A trans woman is a kind of woman. Trans woman. Trans women don't need a fucking scientific breakdown about their biology. They're clear, which is why they use the term trans. They're clear they're transitioning. They're clear that they're transgender, transsexual. If anybody is clear about the science, it is trans people, which is why they use trans to begin with, instead of just identifying as male or identifying as fucking female. It seems that everybody else doesn't understand that. Yes, all of life is fucking nuanced. All of life. All of life. But dominant society is really dumb. And they like broad strokes because it just makes reality hooked on phonics for them. And it's not our fault that life is not for the remedial. I'm so sorry that life is deeply complex, so complex that philosophers have had to exist in every age to philosophize over the complexity of motherfucking reality. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that, yes, there's a basic form of biology, and then there is a high-level academia version of biology in neuroscience and anatomy. Yeah, there's a basic remedial layman person's understanding of sexuality, and then you get into all of the intricate nuance when you go study under gender theory or under sexologists and get into the complexities and how deep and interwoven and overlapping and how unique gender is, how unique sex is, how unique orientation is. The issue with dominant society is that it's filled with a bunch of lazy ass thinking people who don't really think about anything, who don't really think it through, who allow their understanding of a thing to exist at the shallows of the water rather than going out into that 9 feet and that 12 feet and that 24 feet and learning how to motherfucking swim instead of dog paddle. Yeah, this shit is layered up. Nothing is that simple. Nothing is black and white. There's more gray space than there is black and fucking white. There's more space in the middle than there is at the opposite ends of any one thing. And now y'all mad because y'all getting the wake up call. Y'all mad that black men out here saying we want you, you, and you. Yeah, I want the puss. I want the bus. I'm attracted to bio women. I'm attracted to trans women. Y'all mad. Y'all wondering where the fuck is all these motherfucking LGBT folk? It ain't never been this many. Oh yeah, it has been. And the gag about it is you're going to see more and more people come out, because that's what it looks like when you have demonstration and visibility of people. It encourages all the other fucking slaves to take their chance and run off the fucking plantation. So the more and more visibility we have, which is why Trump trying to keep educated people out of spaces, trying to keep alternative people out of spaces, because the more demonstration we get, baby, the more motherfuckers going to be punching a hole in the egg and running out of the matrix, realizing that, oh my God, that liberation is available. That reality is actually available. Yeah, it is. Because a lot of us came out of the closet, whether it came out of the closet as gays, lesbians, trans, whatever it was, because of visibility. Because of other people showing and demonstrating that, oh my God, I don't have to live like this. I don't have to accept this. I don't have to take the breadcrumbs. I don't have to not be myself. And so you arouse courage and brave of heart. And what once was imprisoned people become free people as a result of more motherfucking people. Sonic the Hedgehogging out of Master's house. Dominant society had a chokehold for a long time. Now dominant society is shocked that people are not bending the knee. People are not conforming anymore. People actually want their lives. People want creative control over their lives. People are no longer okay with living to make you comfortable, to make your prejudice okay, to make your preference okay. And thank God that the mutants are now proud, because there is no going back. So we can choose to figure it out, or we can be forced to. But one thing that we gonna do is figure it the fuck out either way. Either by choice or by motherfucking force. Because everybody on the Monopoly board, bitch, is here. And everybody has passed go and cut their motherfucking 300 and run into their respective corners. And you can either make that hard, or you can pucker up, buttercup, and make it do what it do. Down there's two, me and you.
Babe. And I liked how this live went, because again, even though people were anticipating, you good.
And it is, baby.
No shade. But
the untakeable
even though people came in for the interview, and even though the interview did not happen, it still spoke again to the situation of how we got to this point. How do we get here? Like we did what you did, and other people came on as well to kind of give, a little bit of context, nuance. But we were able to go deeper into these social constructs that affect women's community in general. And you have some people out of fear, out of ignorance, out of insecurity, who fight so hard against another aspect of womanhood. But like you said, women are also individual women. That's how the divine works and makes it individual, but just under the category of woman. But it's not taking anything from who you are. If anything, it is something that is coming through to help strengthen the community, to bring that awareness. And it's always been here. It's always been here. That's why I also tell queer people as well, do your research. The same shit that we're going through, it's not anything new, unfortunately. It hasn't even been 100 years since we've dealt with this. They're trying to reverse it again. There is a pattern here. And when we look at people who are willing to look past the divisions, not just listen to a certain news outlet or a certain source of information, but to check all different types of information that say all different type of things and then doing their work to put it together, those individuals, especially during the 60s and 70s, the government labeled them as what? Terrorists. As what? Extremists. What is happening right now? What are the oppressed groups of people who are choosing to liberate themselves being called? It is happening again, but this time it's happening in 4K, 8K. We got to do something different. And no shade. If there are people who just gonna talk shit and not add any sort of direction towards a plan that helps to resolve this shit, ignore or no shade. Sometimes get them hoes to smoke, because sometimes them hoes need smoke. No shade. They sometimes they need it, bitch. Just so you know how hot it is and how hot this bitch can get. But we need to be having conversations with people who are either on board or those that are contemplating being on board. Because as we see, there's a big regret vote for a certain administration, and they realize that now. So now is the time to really educate, because now education is coming back. We see what the real DEI in reference to how they interpret it is. And now those same people who so desperately wanted the attention got all the attention, and now they got stage fright and asking for the help of those who been working not just in front of the camera, but behind the motherfucking scenes. We got power, y'all. It's us. And the more that we have these conversations, not just when CTV is live, or Reckless is live, or TS Maston is live, or Bubs is live, or Queen Stevie is live, or whoever is live, but when the red light is off, when you at work, you got that queerphobic ass coworker, or you at Thanksgiving dinner with that racist ass uncle, or drunk ass, transphobic ass auntie that always got something to say, you got to do your big one. Because like CTV said in the last live, in reference to Christ saying, I think you said that the least of these things that you do, and correct me if I'm wrong because I'm probably messing it up, you have done unto me. So basically, how you treat these people is how you treat me. Okay. We got to treat each other better. But the only way we can do that is starting with ourselves first. That's the only way. We individually make up the community. If the community is sick, that means individuals got shit going on. So it's time to come together, because this system is cutting everything off. And it's going to be go time. So that's it.
Yeah, as I said the other day, you know, Christ was pro-minority and always put the pressure on dominant society to acquiesce. That's why in his dissertation to the disciples, it was about getting them to understand and to prioritize the most vulnerable. If he who is hungry, feed them. If they are thirsty, quench them. If they are lonely, companion them. Do for them as I have done freely for you, for what you do to them, unto the least of them, you've done unto me. Christ was getting them to understand that you can't claim you love me and then you don't love the homeless person who I am too. You can't claim to love me and not do for the widow and do for women when I am her too. I am all of them. And when you do for them, you are doing for me. You're doing to me. He was literally teaching the art that there's no separation. There isn't no you and them. There's only one consciousness. And how you treat them is how you're treating you. How you're treating them is how you're treating me. You can't hurt them without hurting you. You can't hurt them without hurting me. There's one mind, one flesh, one eye, one way, one life, one truth. And when you lie upon one, you lie upon all. Because there's only one. There's only all. These modern evangelical people claiming that they're Christ and justifying their fuckery by voting for Trump under the guise that Trump is being divinely ordained despite not being a Christian is literally about capitalists and bigoted people hiding behind Christianity. These are not Christian people. These are sexist, misogynist, homophobes, transphobes, and capitalists hiding behind Christianity to justify their harm against other people. Christ knew who had the greater resource. That's why Christ applied the pressure and the responsibility to dominant society to acquiesce, not asking minority people to give up what they didn't have to get what they deserve. That math literally makes no fucking sense. So yeah, I'm going to apply pressure to the dominant. I'm going to apply pressure to the majority, not to the minority. And Christ literally said, if any of these motherfuckers come to you teaching and living in a different way than what you have seen demonstrated here, bitch, they are motherfucking lie. They are lie.
Clock it. Clock it. Clock it.
If any of these motherfuckers come tiptoeing in my name, acting and demonstrating anything other than what you have seen here in me, bitch, they are whole motherfucking lie and they are perpetrating a fucking fraud. And that's why when the scriptures conclude, it talks about how, and this, of course, is for those who are Christians and adhere to Christianity and Christian theology and Christian worldview, that their scriptures say, girl, on the day of reckoning, bitch, a lot of you motherfucking hoes who thought you was tiptoeing in the name of Christ are going to be tiptoeing into hell because, boo, I don't know you. Depart from me. I never knew you. Who are you? But Christ. I stood on them punks for you. I stood on them men with dicks for you.
Oh my Lord.
Christ. I stood on them people of other religions next for you. Baby, I don't know you. Because in all that you did, boo, you prophesied it. And all that you did, boo, you preached the tenets. You forgot the one motherfucking thing that I am and the only thing that I came to do, bitch, which is love. All this legalistic behavior you've been tiptoeing in, all this mechanical Christianity you had, and you forgot the soul of the law, which was love. You forgot the full circleness of the law, which was love. You forgot the fulfillment of the law, which was motherfucking love. You tiptoed in all this legalism. You tiptoed in all these logistics. And you forgot the whole motherfucking point, baby, which was the love. Because once you truly love, baby, you don't have to worry about covenant with your neighbor's wife because you love your neighbor and his wife enough.
No shade.
To not bring discord and dysfunction to his home. That's why the first commandment is love thy God with all your heart, might, and soul, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. Because once you love, you actually can complete and fulfill the whole law. If you love, you wouldn't kill. If you love, you wouldn't steal. If you love, you wouldn't covet. You wouldn't covet. If you loved. That's why the whole fucking tenet begins with love, and that centers the law. The law revolves around the actuality and the actualization of love. Bubs.
But yeah, this is what happens when you have Mad Dog 2020, Old English, Irish Spring, motherfucking the OJs, body built ass niggas in pulpits speaking other shit. Like, and I think you said this a lot on your platform throughout the years. We over here gagging at this shit that is the distractions. Imagine how bad we gonna gag when the distractions are removed from us before we have an opportunity to actually resolve them inwardly. It's gonna be a stark contrast. Stark. These are the same people who again talk about protecting children and bettering themselves and bettering and creating a new future for our children. But at the same time, though, Shay, how can I really expect them to do that when their parents ain't teach them that? They just follow the same bullshit as their parents. And their parents followed them and their parents followed them. No growth, no evolution, no challenge. Just the, oh, I'm the mommy, I'm the daddy, I'm grown. Exactly. There's a lot of grown fools. And a lot of those unfortunate grown fools have become elders that don't nobody want to be around and is being tossed somewhere to be left and forgotten. But even God, Source Universe Consciousness, has grace even for them to have caretakers that love them. And one thing that kind of helps me in a sense to kind of like get myself back on track, because again, I have a tendency to overthink. I'm a human. We all have our own, I guess, what they call them, thorns, if you will. But one thing that I think about is the inevitable, which we're all going to experience, which is that radical transition from this life to whatever is after that. And the fact that we be down here working so hard for this materialistic shit, stepping over others for materialistic shit, augmenting ourselves, selling our souls for materialistic shit. And then when we get it, we don't feel fulfilled. Because no shade, again, in context to the topic here, when we talk about bio women and trans women, both on the spectrum are changing their bodies. Not because I want to look good for me, girl. I want to look in the mirror and be like, yes, bitch, you did that. It ain't anything of the self. It's the fact of what this man is going to think about me. And the funny part is that this idea of what womanhood is not even womanhood's perspective. It's from the idea of a man. Hello? This ain't new. Y'all remember during the 20s and 30s and 40s, all them goddamn big band motherfucking Mr. President ass chicks and shit who wore the sultry red and had the titties all pushed up and the thin body and the sexual stuff and the ooga and the eyes and all that type of shit. It was always for a male gaze. And not Gays, but Gaze, male gaze. The patriarchal male gaze. And patriarchy has done such a big motherfucking swanton bomb on top of womanhood that it has them fighting each other. Just like it did a motherfucking frog splash, 5-star flash, 5-star motherfucking jump, elbow drop, leg drop on the black community. They have the black community fighting amongst themselves. We have to do something different. We have to find some sort of unity, and it has to be outside the box, because these war hawks, these old ass dinosaurs that are a few years younger than dirt, want us to keep following the same damn script. But then you have people like the CTVs of the world, the T.S. Madisons of the world, the Hope Giselles, countless others who are walking in their own individuality, and the universe is still blessing them, allowing them to manifest their life in spite, despite what everybody else or dominant society is doing. But let's talk about the real reason why a lot of people ain't gonna stand up, ain't gonna really stand in the gap for real, because their mortality is going to be threatened. Their privilege is going to be threatened. And in a sense, I can somewhat understand, because I don't have children. A lot of people do. So it's a greater responsibility. So a lot of times they're going to have to be forced to do things that they don't want to do, not just for their survival, but for the survival of their family. But we wouldn't have to get to that motherfucking point if we would have just worked things out while we have the time to. If we're talking about activism, if we're talking about liberation, this is not just something that we just do once. This is something that has to be like a lifestyle thing. When we think about the boycotts, for example, with the Montgomery bus boycott, they boycotted for over a year. Said, bitch, I will walk. My feet already hurt, but I will walk. Before I give these motherfuckers any money, bitch, I will walk and soak my shit in Epsom salt when I get home. Get motherfucking Albany to come get that shit. I will carpool. I will ride a bike. It don't matter, to where they had to fold. Because at the end of the day, they want us fighting each other and destroying each other. So when the time comes in to do the last of the cleanup, they don't have to do a lot because there is no people. And then when it comes down to accountability, we didn't do it. The people did it. They destroyed each other. All we did was just whisper in a motherfucking ear and put out the internet, put out smartphones, put out these things that allow you to learn at a faster rate. And y'all still choosing to be ignorant, girl. We just got to do our big one. And I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. We have to. We have to. Because this end games, baby. This is it. We about to live some shit that's going to be in history books. And unfortunately, a lot of people ain't going to survive that. A lot of people ain't going to be nothing but memories. Because we here now. But for those that do want to stand up, for those that are aware, baby, you might as well get yourself prepared. Like I said, rewatch, or if you haven't watched it, watch The Handmaid's Tale, bitch. Get your June Osborne on and be prepared. I would love to be wrong. If I'm wrong, I would delete all my videos and read Bible verses every day if I'm wrong.
We're living in some peril times, y'all, and we are living through the death of a version of America. What they're trying to resurrect with is something that is very insidious, very dark, very inhumane. In part, we're going to have to hold on. We're going to have a few opportunities to have some anesthesia. You know, we recently had the success of the blue wave. That's going to be the anesthesia. That's not going to stop, though, what's happening. It is going to slow it down. It is going to make it a bit more comfortable for us to endure what needs to endure. But America is undergoing karmic retribution. America has been very bad to people. America has been very narcissistic, has been very arrogant. America is due for retribution. And this is why what's about to happen is about to be felt by all. The retribution is for all. And during this time of living through the decay and the rot of America, we're going to have to also be developing our Project 2025, aka our vision for our world, and working and doing our shadow work as people so that we can actually commit to what we need to commit to in order to bring about this prosperity and this utopia that is in the hearts of so many loving people and so many good people. What we need to be doing with this time is revisioning this system. What we need to be doing is taking a forensics and a autopsy of the way we all have accidentally, indirectly contributed to the fucked upness of the system. Whether that was us being complicit, whether that was us being lazy, whether that was us being arrogant and our privilege, thinking that we had made it when we had in fact not. Whatever role we've played, whatever role each community played in tying this shit up and bringing in what happened, because we are responsible for what's been reined in. Trump was only able to use what was there. This regime was only able to use what was there. We have to take a look now at what the fuck was there so that we never get here again. So that we're clear about all of the things that led directly and indirectly to the death of our world. This has to be received as an opportunity for us to do what we've done once before, which is to reconstruct. We're under another period of reconstruction. This is the time to be bringing it in. This is the time to be bringing the visionaries in. This is the time to be centering strategy, wisdom, even if it means that we collapse the system before they get a chance to, by pulling out of the entire fucking system, pulling our money out and collapsing it before they get to use it to harm us, because that's what they're trying to do. They're using our coin and our participation to use the system against us. And in order to stop them, we need to collapse the system before they do. We need to collapse the economy before they do. I'm not mad at the Democrats, because honestly, it's going to take a lot of that. Us boycotting Target, boycotting CBS, all the shit we've done. We need a broad stroke of that shit. They're trying to seize control over these very things, and we need to destroy them as a result. Everything they're trying to seize, we need to destroy it. Because they need us to create the world, as all colonizers have done. They need us to construct their world. They used our slave labor before. They used our forced labor before, and they're going to use, and they're trying to use it now. This time we don't participate. This time we don't sweat it out. This time we don't give them what they need. This time we boycott the entire fucking system and we crash it, because they come down too when the roof caves in. Oh, and it's not going to look nasty. Oh yeah, baby. You having to pull out of supporting certain systems and brands that serve you in some way, shape, or form. Look, no change in society, no revolution, necessary change in society has ever come. I'll say it like this. Every change I've ever seen occur in history has come by fire. Sacrifice is going to be needed. You think that black people wanted to walk miles and miles and miles and miles to work and boycott and have to wake up 2 and 3 hours early because now other people got to be fucking dropped off before they are dropped off at their destination? No. Our ancestors committed to whatever needed to be committed to for a better day for themselves and for us, and we're having to do the same for ours. If you want convenience, if you want luxury, if you want result without effort, then baby, just get comfortable on your descent to hell, because that's the only place we have to go by complying with the system. A mass blackout. Absolutely, Medusa. A mass motherfucking blackout. They're trying to censor. They're trying to seize media. They're trying to shut down free speech. They're fucking with the Constitution. They're buying up all the land in order to control the agriculture. We need a mass blackout. We need to be blacking out the entire time that Trump is in office. Really. Really.
No shade.
Really. We need to be committed to a 3.5 year blackout. A 3 year blackout. What they want, they're going to use to harm us. We don't have to give them that. If we drive it into poverty first. Just like we got all these MAGA holes in the food bank line, let's put all of their asses there, baby. Because if we're going, we're certainly taking you with us, baby. If none of us can be happy, bitch, y'all sure not. You're sure not going to be, bitch. If we're going to be miserable, bitch, you sure are going to be miserable too, bitch.
No shade.
You're coming too, Miss Mamas. Grab that bitch by her wig, baby, and hold on to her ass on the way down.
And speaking of the way down again, shout out to Mother Maddie. Y'all remember that fish fry video? The homosexuals and all, yeah, we going to hell, but y'all coming too. Welcome. We all going. We all welcome. It's all of us, girl. Welcome me, welcome you. The question is, what are y'all bringing? Let me know in the comments. What y'all bringing to hell, bitch? I'm bringing the rock ons. What y'all bringing? What y'all gonna bring? To his point, we make up the system. The system needs us. We are the blood cells in the system. We is what is keeping the machine running. We are the lifeline of that. That's why they want robots so much. Because they understand that we get into a place where we tired of this shit.
I thought Christians
And
didn't
we have
want
an opportunity.
robots.
Go ahead. Huh?
I thought Christians didn't want robots. They said they wanted to go back to
So
the past, but it seems like they want to take control over the robots that was actually originated by Democrats, I guess. And then when Donald Trump tried to overrun it, now it's his now, saying that, oh, I originated it. No, you didn't. Like, they take everything. They don't really make anything. I don't know. It's weird to me. And also, we
well,
need to really start doing something, because the thing is, he's going to start writing more stuff that don't make no sense, where more of your rights are going to get taken away. Not only your rights, but yours already taking away your health, what is it called, Medicaid. He's taking away he already
the
taken your
healthcare.
Medicaid away. What is it, more cuts? He's going to do more cuts in 2026. He ain't done.
Oh, that's when all hell is about to break loose in 2026, because that's when a lot of this shit gonna be enacted and gonna be active. 2026 is literally they're setting it off.
Kim Jong-un is also creating missiles again. He's ready to start missiling it up. And also, Donald Trump also was trying to create war with Nigeria. What's going on over there? What? He's trying to protect the Christians over there? Oh, just the Christians, but he won't protect the Nigerians, though. Okay.
They're even boycotting in Switzerland, where Ray is.
Oh, gosh.
Collapsing the fucking system. This is the only way. This is the only way. This is the only way.
But then again, too, yes, that is the way. But like you said, when you have narcissists in positions of power and you dare to stand up against them, oh, don't think you're gonna get away with that. So they're gonna find a way to retaliate with that, and they always retaliate with violence. So at this point, and here's one thing that's crazy. For the longest time, especially with the Black community, we have chosen peace. We have walked out.
Before you move on from that point, I just want to say this. Don't also fall, y'all, for the retaliation, because regardless of what they do, they're trying to take us where we don't want to go anyway. So don't be afraid of the retaliation. This whole thing is about retaliation. There is no soothing it. Now this is active war, and it's us against the machine. It's us against these principalities and wickednesses that reside in heavenly and high places in our lands, from government to the DOJ to the criminal justice system, etc. They're taking us where we don't want to go any motherfucking way. As far as we're concerned, really, there's nothing else to take, baby. You are making Americans poor. You're making them sick. So the good news is we're already at the end of our thing. It's now y'all who got something to lose. We're already at the end of our thing. It's y'all now who got something to lose, and we're going to make sure y'all fucking lose it. We're going to ensure that there's loss. So like I said, that Statue of Liberty, grab that bitch around her motherfucking neck and drag her ass down with you.
I mean, look.
And be like, hey, I'm going to
use her motherfucking ass as a
hood and have my niggas rub on her booty.
Use the Statue of Liberty's body as a motherfucking floaty, bitch. You coming too.
And where's Reckless Logic?
He's working. He works.
Damn. Yeah. Well, and the thing is, all our tax money, all that money that went to a freaking ball. That Donald Trump, and guess what? He's having a good time. Guess what? I posted on TikTok. He's having a good time. Oh, ha, 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 ha. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, we did the ball. We're doing the lavish party. Oh my gosh, yes. We're gonna make America great again. Oh, wonderful. Look at the girls coming in. Look at the feather girls. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my, he's just having a good old time.
Him and his 3 stomachs, girl.
But let me tell you something. He tweeted something that I know is not about a loss. It's about a win. He said, so it begins. Something very bad is happening right now. Whatever has happened, they've made progress on. And Trump tweeted that cryptic tweet that so it begins. And he's not talking about his motherfucking end. He's too narcissist to ever admit that there's an L to take. Something has happened that is very bad. And we've yet to see it unfold in the material world yet. But whatever it is about to come down the pipeline. They've made progress on some type of front. And now they're all excited about what that is because now it begins. Y'all get ready. Get ready, baby, because it's up.
I even asked the pendulums about this, and I asked questions, is America going to even try to survive? And it was trying to say barely if this keeps up.
I mean, this is all just the manifestation of the racism, the queerphobia. It's all just coming to a head.
It's
and
America's version of a Dark Night of the Soul. This is
Well,
period.
They wanted to turn into like just like what Hitler was when Hitler manipulated the people, and also blame. It starts off with, just like over here in America, you already know, just like in America, how he set everything up and how he destroyed all the people because they voted for him, by the way, or they was forced to vote for him. And then he just destroyed everything. And then, yeah. Because Donald Trump learned from Hitler. He actually got the book. He played the game. Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's why I was saying, like, when it comes down to blackness and just the things that we've endured and the fact of defending ourselves, because it's like, when they retaliate, we have every right to defend ourselves. The reason why I say that is because for the longest time, we've practiced peace. We've walked in the streets, we peacefully protest, and we're met with angry mob spitting, throwing things, attacking, police officers, military attacking, dogs being sicked on, water hoses being turned on, and we sat there and took all that shit. If it's gonna be war this time, baby, ain't gonna be no taking that shit. I don't think y'all want to deal with 400 years plus of shit focused on you, because they want it to be focused on us individually within our community. But imagine if all the shit that we're dealing with in our community, we found a way to have it focused on who is attacking us. We will be a force to be reckoned with, and that's what they're afraid of. So if we're going to continue to do this, we have to prepare for as many of the realities as possible, even the scary ones. I've been having a lot of conversations with myself over these past few years that are scary, that talks about mortality. What if I'm put in this situation? What am I going to do? If ICE slams my motherfucking mom on the ground and hurt her and just dogpile her, am I just going to stand there crying, screaming, oh my God, oh my God? Or is me and the nigga who did it both going to go see the all creator today?
Okay,
Him first.
Right, exactly. I was conscious. I asked a question with this pendulum thing, and I said, is Kamala going to be president of the United States, right? And it swings on its own, and it's saying yes.
Okay. 2028 is Kamala's?
Yeah, but let me ask this question as well. Spirit, is Donald Trump going to be president of the United States?
Oh, they don't like this kind of teaching.
It's swinging yes. That's weird.
So you're getting two different messages.
Cortita was right. Cortita was right. I knew it. Cortita was right. I knew it. They're going to have a panel. I knew it. It's a panel. I knew it. I knew it. She said the world leaders, Kamala is going to get up there. She's low tier. And like I said, that panel is Donald Trump with the world leaders, and also Kamala is going to get on it. So I don't know why it's saying yes for Kamala, but yes for Donald Trump.
I wonder if that also can be interpreted to be kind of like it's going to be like whatever's happening is going to be running neck to neck together.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. Like neck and neck together.
Because
The
we already
ballots, the
know,
votes and stuff.
because like we already know that they're trying to suppress like voters registration. They're trying to gerrymander the whole motherfucking nine. They're trying to fuck with the Constitution. Donald Trump already said that he's willing to cause a war in order to remain in office. So they have a lot of shit in their sleeve to create an extension. But us and the witches are going to get together so that motherfucker can continue to have a lot of near-death experiences. Yeah. Me and them Etsy hoes gonna continue to get together, baby.
You bet.
And fling dust, baby, so that he giving Joe Biden by the end of this shit.
Did you
Up
say
there, light as a feather and stiff as a motherfucking board.
Light as a feather and stick as a board.
I feel him in me. Do you feel him? I feel him in me. He shows me he loves me. I feel him in me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Yep. Well, I gotta get out of here, y'all. We've been in here for 4 hours. I gotta go. This was dope and sickening. Any lasting thoughts, Deshaun?
Yeah, you guys gotta vote. You guys need to really make a decision on what you guys are gonna do, because remember, this president is great. Like my gosh, he's gonna cause this world to be into more destruction, and I don't think we need another 3 years of this again. I mean, it's crazy, but yeah, you guys gotta really make a decision on that. Use your ancestors, pray about it, try to do whatever you can so that you can stay insane, love one another, and stop judging one another.
Yeah. And start planning ahead to get your asses down there to the midterm election booths next year. Start already putting aside the money, the carpooling, and whatever need to be done to ensure that you participate in midterm elections, because we need all of that.
I bind you, Nancy. Nancy Mace? Is that who you're talking about?
Get from here.
She's crazy too. Let me tell you something. Every time there's a transgender, like, oh my God, it's like, what the heck is wrong with you, Nancy Mace? And let me tell you something about Nancy Mace. She got a transgender friend, and she allowed her to go to the bathroom in the woman's bathroom, but yet she wants to blame everyone else that's going to the woman's bathroom. Interesting.
A mess. Thank you for being up here, boo.
Anyways. Crazy.
That was our Deshaun, you guys. Boops to God. Any lasting words?
Well, I think I said everything that needed to be to be said. Yes, again, I appreciate you came for another amazing live, amazing conversation. Shout out to everybody who came up on the panel. You can follow me on my social medias on Instagram, TikTok, and here on YouTube. Bubs the God. That Cash App, $ Bubs the God. Appreciate y'all. And until next time, Conscious Crew. Thank you.
I'm gonna call you.
Okay.
All right. That was our Bubs, you guys. You guys, this was riveting. This was emotional. It was really balanced. I think we had a great dialogue under all these circumstances. Light and love to all communities. Let's continue to find ways to actually stand together rather than be united. This is the thing they're using to play in all of our faces and to keep us from power, collective power that we're going to need from this collective regime that's at work. Division is how they're going to be able to win the war. So the takeaway here is, to continue to come together and reason together. And much love to women's community, to trans women's community, the females community. I know it's a sticky situation. Both communities have gone through a lot, go through a lot, are being washed and rinsed by the same system. So I just pray that the female community and trans women's community continue to have conversation, continue to dialogue. Like someone said in the chat, this is not a joking matter. People's lives are on the line. And this is a very serious thing that's going on between trans people's place in America and females' place in America. So hope that we can yield love there So thumbs up and share, you guys. You guys can get the word out that yes, you know, we heard the cries and woes of woman. Alexis does. It came out that she has a past, and you know, women are justified in their concerns regarding her. And I once again hope that that's not going to be used as a way to blanket it the entire trans community. If you enjoyed yourself, please thumbs up, give me a share, give me a like, follow me on all social medias, etc. We have a lot of new followers on Instagram. Also, if you love everything that the King does here, you can always donate to the platform at $Consciouztv and or paypal.me/ConsciouzTV, as it is in the description box and on the screen. And I was going to say something else. I'll be turning 40 next Saturday, so we will be doing a little 1-2-1-2 on the platform. I appreciate you guys. And yes, we now have to get back to some pop culture commentary because, girl, y'all done woe out Miss Gold's Gym drama. So we got to get into Krishan Rock, Carlissa, Blueface, got to get into Onika being MAGA girl. The streets are on fire, child. I love you guys a long time. Take care.